Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Today on Schadenfreude Live, I'm joined today by a whole bunch of my fellow friends, fellow losers, and fellow gaming enthusiasts.
Whoa.
First off, since
I'm not a loser, bro.
since he's first in and first to win, Mr. Double Prime.
I'm always first.
Mr.
Except when you're last.
Then I'm the first one to go home.
Mr. Jimmy Soundwave.
Howdy.
Mr. Paladin of the Boss.
Hi.
Mr. Instant Retreat.
Of course I'm last. Anyway, thanks.
Save the best for last. Come on.
Oh, okay. That's
This episode of Schadenfreude Live is quite literally about a month in advance. We have a lot of topics. First up, we have the Nintendo Direct from September 2018. September 13th, 2018. So that's over a month ago. Yes, I know. Odyssey has pretty much murdered any hope I had of getting anything done in a timely manner. The first thing that they announced, and probably the biggest piece of news from this game, from this Direct, is that they are dropping Luigi's Mansion 3, which is a working title, for the Switch at some point in the future. Mr. Soundwave.
I'm excited.
I delegate this to you. You're the resident Switch lover.
What, everything?
Yeah, you sleep with it every night, don't you?
I actually do, yeah. I keep it next to
It
my
is
bed
in your bed every night.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? Luigi's Mansion 3 looks cool. Came hot off the tails of Bousette and Bowsette.
Oh,
so
no, fuck that. Good
how
job.
appropriate.
Yeah, let's do it, boy.
I mean, we didn't see that much, but it's Luigi's Mansion. We already know what to expect. And they did, well, I'll come back to this with the next mention. Kirby's Epic Yarn, or Extra Epic Yarn, I'm sorry. They're bringing back the Wii game. They're porting a Wii game to the 3DS, and they're adding some new features. They're bringing back all the old content, basically just spicing up the Wii game for a 3DS port, which is cool. They were originally making it a new 3DS only game, and they actually had to backpedal on that because people weren't too happy about that spicy meme. Which means that the Warriors games and Xenoblade Chronicles 3D remain the only new 3DS exclusive titles. After that, we had a game that the original I enjoyed a lot, but because I don't touch my 3DS, I don't know that I'll be going back to this, which was Bowser's Inside Story with the addition of Bowser Jr.'s story coming January 11, 2019. And I should also mention that Extra Epic Yarn, the Kirby game, is also coming 2019 with no specific date yet. Bowser's Inside Story is one of the better Mario RPGs in my opinion. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. I always hear people talking about Superstar Saga pretty much all the time, and sometimes Partners in Time. Nobody loves Bowser's Inside Story, which is not true because it's actually pretty popular. I just never hear anyone mention it. Next, we have Luigi's Mansion. The original Luigi's Mansion. The GameCube game. Getting ported where?
The 3DS.
Not to the Switch, but to the 3DS.
Right. That's right, bitches.
Super mad.
No, that should
Spray and Pray 1000 hates the Switch.
I do not hate the Switch.
Which is fine.
Hold on.
Whatever.
Okay.
Keep that on the record. He doesn't hate it. He just doesn't like that people like it as much as they.
That's not even
very
true.
Weird blend.
I don't like, I'll say this for the record because this is some record that no one will ever see. I personally find that the biggest issue with the Switch is the fucking hardware. And that's like every Nintendo console I played for the last decade. My biggest issue is that the game's hardware is just in-fucking-apt. And I think that that's what really kills it in my mind. The game's hardware. The console's hardware is just behind. And I mean, it is true. They do have the weakest hardware. And I mean, usually it's fine when it's like, okay, they can't run third parties, but they got the killer suite of first-party games. I don't really see that happening much. I got slowdown in Breath of the Wild. I got crashing and slowdowns in Fire Emblem Warriors. I got slowdowns in fucking Xenoblade. It's starting to get to that point where I feel like the portability is nice, but the games don't even run decently in docked mode. Now, there are rumors, and pretty much almost confirmed.
It's not a rumor. Nintendo flat out said it.
Confirmed. They are saying that they are going to release a newer version of the Switch next year, so is Nintendo gonna... See, if Nintendo does this, in my opinion, I won't give them any extra flack for it, because it's already what Sony and Microsoft did, which is an updated version of the Switch with, like, better hardware or some bullshit. But on the flip side, they are the first people that wanted to have like exclusive games for the new 3DS XL. So I could kind of see them pushing that as like you have to do that, which whereas Sony and Microsoft are nice enough to not. But I don't hate the Switch. I just hate the fact that every version of it sacrificed portability or power for portability when these games are clearly reaching that power level that they need. And I think that's probably my biggest issue with it, is that I can't even play Zelda without slowdown anymore. And it's not even like cute slowdown like Wind Waker, where it's like, oh, the cartoon effects and all this bullshit. You know, that was cute in 2003. I didn't like it was in Wind Waker HD. I was like, you know, that's a little lame. But I was like, okay, you know what, it's a port, right? Now, Breath of the Wild was pretty much a launch title for this console. It really shouldn't. But I won't side roll this any more than it needs to be. And trust me, I don't like the fucking PS4 either, by the way. I think the PS4 has its own, especially with the PS4 bug, which we'll talk about later, the message glitch. But yeah, continue.
So as you can clearly tell, he hates the Switch.
Oh, I fucking hate Nintendo, that's right. I spend every day of my life hating Nintendo, which is why I have
if you don't hate game
hundreds of
companies
hours.
at least a little bit, you're not a real consumer, or you're not spending you've never had to spend any of your own money. You've never earned any of the money you spent on a game.
Oh yeah, I did not work for my fucking Wii U and PS4.
let me
That's
tell
for
you,
certain. Let me tell you about
I've been
that
burned.
shit, dude.
But so Luigi's Mansion, I'm salty it's not coming to the Switch. It's coming to the 3DS, which I don't really want to touch anymore. That game has 2-player co-op. Now, as a result, I could only assume that Luigi's Mansion 3 will have some form of co-op, since the Switch is marketed. It's marketed on its portability, but it's also marketed on the whole, oh, bring it to Starbucks, where you and your 3 hipster friends definitely would not be caught dead playing a game.
You and your 3 upper middle class hipster white friends all play Mario Kart very loudly and obnoxiously.
Yep. It's
Sounds
so funny because it's literally the Nintendo fanboy stereotype, except they're all beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I said yeah before I even registered that.
No,
last
it's
part.
well, no,
Fuck.
because the stereotype is not that they're beautiful. The stereotype, sorry for you Nintendo fans, but I'm out there too, is that if you like Nintendo, you're a man-child with a gut and a neckbeard. It's just life. And wow.
And like
wow.
Vince McMahon always says, dude, life sucks and then you die. Am I right?
Oh my Jesus. Hop on your fedora and sit back.
Oh, you know what, dude? Listen, I made this fucking show for what it is, dude. This is my domain, my kingdom.
And in this kingdom, you will
Everyone
be playing.
suffers. It's
Oh wait,
Schadenfreude
Luigi's
life.
Mansion is out?
Yeah, it came out, dude.
Holy shit! Yeah, it came out. It came out 8 days ago.
I was saying this
That ain't
during
news.
I was saying that during the Assassin's Creed playthrough. Like, I have not gotten to play that game because of fucking Odyssey. Because Odyssey literally took me 2 weeks to beat. Like, unironically. Like, not even memeing. I don't think I took a single day off. I think I took 1 day off. So that game took me 15 days to beat. I took 1 day off because I literally had like 30 gigabytes on my fucking computer. And I was like, yeah, there's no way that's happening. But, Yokai Watch Blasters, I mean... Anyone still care about the Pokemon killer?
I think it's pretty good.
Yokai
Watch is fun, honestly.
I didn't say it was a bad game.
They had a year or two
No, I just mean
victory, and
we
then
used to call it the Pokemon killer, but
Yeah, and then
It
what
didn't
happened
work.
with Pokemon? They
Sun
dropped.
and Moon
Yeah, no, wasn't it X and Y back then?
no, the Yokai Watch beat X and Y.
Really? In Japan though, not in
And
America.
they don't care about anything else.
Well, I mean, okay.
It's Japan. You know, it's Nintendo. They don't care about the other
okay. But here's the funny thing. You know, I'm not even gonna get sidetracked. Let's finish this, and then I'll. If I remember, I'll talk about it. Fucking Sakamoto and
Splatoon 2.
Metroid.
I don't even remember what the Splatoon 2 update was. They did changes that were based
Balancing,
on the online
I
app.
think.
They released, they announced their new update, which was 4.0, I believe. Added a bunch of new brands. They did some changes for the online in terms of the voice chat for the Nintendo Switch Online app and everything like that. And they also, of course, are adding new maps, if I remember correctly. And right now, this weekend, they are doing the Halloween Splatfest, which you can get yourself some nice Halloween-themed outfits for your Inkling, which, if you play the game, is pretty cool. That's all Splatoon. I mean, if I remember correctly, next year is the last year of updates for it. But they've been pretty good about adding content to that game. And yeah, the lobby is not as oof as it was before. So yeah, if you're a Splatoon 2 fan, hopefully this gets to you in time. But if you're a Splatoon 2 fan, you probably already knew about the Splatfest, and I hope you're enjoying it. The next one was Mega Man 11, which came out October 2nd, $30. Probably a really good game. But after buying all these Mega Man collections for $30 and $40, I feel really uncomfortable spending $30 on one. Even if it's a good game, which it looks really good. I just feel uncomfortable. What else? Oh boy. Mario Tennis update.
Which you won't play with me, by the way.
There's a lot of good games out, buddy.
Dude. I mean, I won't disagree with that statement, but
games out.
I don't even care if I lose. I fucking fun. That fucking Jotaro shit you did with the double backflip is probably one of my favorite gaming moments of this year.
I just want to play Smash with this group that loves to play games together.
Oh, dude.
Won't
Well,
get upset.
after Smash, that won't happen. Trust me.
If the Switch wasn't dead before, it'll be dead.
Oh, they'll be running back to the fucking Wii U, dude. It'll be like the good old days of nobody. I don't want to fucking play it. You always win. I never win.
With
To quote
guest.
someone, but yes.
Let's quote someone who couldn't be with us
won't
today.
be named. Yeah, who won't be named.
Let's see. Yeah, they added Birdo, Shy Guy, Paratroopa, PD Piranha got announced, and they added a co-op challenge mode. Pretty cool. I still wish there was more single player content. Having the whole adding stuff over time is cool. Personally, I feel like there's not much you can add. I'd rather them add new courts than more characters. Because you kind of it's not that different. Like, it's the character types you play. I'm not saying there aren't nuances between them. There's balance differences between them and everything like that. But I don't know. I mean, if you were someone who was waiting for Birdo, then there's people out there who waited for. You got Birdo. Congrats.
It's because Yoshi's in the game. Yeah.
So that came out September 19th. That update information. September 18th was the Capcom Beat 'em Up Pack launched. Now, this was a particularly interesting launch for two reasons. One, well, let me list the games first, then I'll get to two reasons. You got Final Fight, King of Dragons, Captain Commando, Warriors of Fate, Armored Warriors, and Battle Circuit. Reason one, these games can all be played online. That is amazing. These are arcade games from the 80s, and I believe 90s as well, that you can emulate them. You've probably played most of these games. What you haven't played is Armored Warriors and Battle Circuit. Those games were not on home console ever until this point, which is amazing. So, I mean, you might have played it if you, emulated the arcade version, but, if you did that, then yay for you. But most people have probably never seen Armored Warriors and Battle Circuit, and probably not Warriors of Fate either. Final Fight, King of Dragons, and Captain Commando are very common games, but the other three are a bit more obscure, so that's pretty cool. I like beat-em-ups, and it's nice to see them adding some of those older retro games with co-op support. Next was New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. The game that fucked it all.
What?
You got to play as Nabbit and Toadette.
Oh.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Then Toadette did the worst thing ever.
Yeah, that.
Put on a crown.
Transformed. So basically the internet imploded because everyone started making art of the crown going on characters other than Toadette. Including, but not limited to, Bowser, Boo, Chain Chomp, and then it jumped to other franchises. It was like an infection-based thing.
You ever seen an epidemic spread? Yeah. That weekend, I saw
it was ludicrous.
It's like playing that, what was it, Pandemic, I think? Pandemic 2. Oh, boy.
The worst thing about it is that people wanted Peachette to be canon.
There are petitions for getting Bowsette into Smash, into Curiosity. They even had Bowsette in a mod for Breath of the Wild.
It reminds me of when people wanted their specifically niche relationship pairings that they made on Tumblr and Twitter to become canon in official works, and it's like, no, just no.
No.
Little
just
sister.
no.
But my problem with it was that people wanted Peachette. There were people who wanted Peachette. They got Peachette. Immediately didn't care.
Yeah, immediately
canonized.
Peach
They
was
were
irrelevant.
like, now how can we make this something we want to fuck?
Yeah, honestly.
That's what it became instantly.
People wanted to fuck Bowser more than they wanted to fuck Peach. I mean, like, you know, a few years ago we were talking about how video games are the male fantasy and shit, and the first thing they did was try to fuck the turtle they've been spin throwing for years. I mean, that says something, I feel. Like, I think they might be on the wrong foot over there, but they don't even care about video games anymore, so it is what it is. Trump got elected, so fixed everything. That literally fixed everything.
Anyway, people are degenerates.
Oh well.
If you like it, you like it. That's fine. Personally.
Yeah, no, it's not a knock on people who like it. It's
well, it is. Look, all I'm gonna say is,
fuck it.
If you are one of the content creators that thought Bowsette and Boosette stuff was degenerate, but you made art anyway of it because you wanted to make a quick buck, you are a disingenuous soul.
I mean, listen, dude, that's capitalism. Fuck it. That's capitalism.
Boys gotta eat.
Yeah, I wish I had that sound clip. Do you know? Fuck. I don't think he ever backs up his shit ever. I really want. I don't even remember his name. I have to dig deep to even figure out who the fuck it was. I really want
Rex.
that sound clip. Yeah, I'm never gonna. Rex Roast. Rex Roast? Something like that. I need to fucking find that sound clip because I wish I had the Elgato Stream Deck back then because I really wish I could play that shit just to fuck around. But anyway, carry on.
I choked on my jerky when I said boys gotta eat.
Boys gotta eat. Yeah, keep
still
eating.
Choking.
Keep eating, you fuck.
I'm still choking.
Shove that shit down, dude.
January 11th, 2019. It's coming. And then winter 2018. Something's wrong in the cosmos. Katamari Damacy reroll.
Yes.
December 7th, 2018.
La 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 la. I will be the prince again and start making stars and moons.
And make things and refill the planets. Someone has to take over while I cough up a lung.
All right.
Dude, and you can play with your friends, I think.
I didn't really pay too much attention as part of the direct. Nintendo Switch Online begins September 18th, so it already began almost a month ago. Holy shit. What happened? Yo, Odyssey stole a fucking half a month of my life, dude. This fucking game, I have literally been disconnected from the internet for about two whole fucking weeks. It's ridiculous. But it will enable online play. You'll be able to get NES games. You'll be able to put save data in the cloud. Now, Nintendo did clarify this, is that you can still access your data and it's still backed up in the cloud for, I believe, up to 6 months before they will delete it. So it's not like you unsubscribe and it just goes poof and it disappears. I don't know how it works on PlayStation. I don't know if they keep it there.
6 months.
Same thing, 6 months. Okay, so then that's industry standard then. So people were kind of, I don't know. People have a really weird reaction to Nintendo wanting any amount of money for online, for services that literally Sony bangs you out the ass for on the monthly. I don't get it. I guess I don't. I guess it's the same kickback the PS3 had, where it was like, oh, you know, it's free stuff, right? You want whatever.
The difference here is it went from free to pay.
I mean, isn't that what Sony did?
We've already talked about this, bro.
Because
Sony did the same
Switch
thing.
was the first,
Right.
yeah, but Switch was the first one to do it mid-console.
Yeah,
but here's another thing about the Sony. Yes, Sony did it between consoles. However, when Sony did it, they were behind anyway.
I mean, isn't Nintendo always behind?
The one ahead was doing it paid, right? So they're just copying the dude who's ahead. Nobody gave a fuck because nobody played PS3.
But Nintendo will never be ahead.
No, dude, no, that is not.
By definition, they will never be ahead.
But Nintendo's in its own little.
I mean, yeah, but they will never win a console generation.
Literally Nintendo, and it's a reasonable price, and it comes with features. That's the whole point. You're paying for online so you can get, hopefully, more or better servers, you get better connection, and a whole bunch of other slew of features along with it. PS Plus got infinitely better when freaking Sony started charging.
Yeah, despite all the ridiculous
shitty free PS3 service was awful. It was straight garbage.
Gotta
It
take a call,
probably.
sorry. I can't even defend myself anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Let me just finish, and then you can go. But one of the worst things about PS3 was no party system. There's pretty much like the connection wasn't great, and they didn't really offer any features. Plus, games weren't really running that great on it. But I mean, go ahead. Hello?
You're wrong.
It's one of the reasons why Xbox was so popular, because you had to pay for it, but their service was so much better because they could afford to improve it because the service wasn't free. Again, I think the price is reasonable. $20 for a year is very
for a year,
reasonable.
by the way. It's not $20 a month. It's not $10 a month. It's 20 a year. And
it's reasonable, and hopefully Nintendo will improve the features. I mean, you already see cloud saves and probably and all.
They just need the party system.
But yeah, I think they might bring back.
That's the one problem.
Yeah, they're working on it. It just came out, so
I don't know if they'll put a party system in.
I mean, maybe not.
I think they're gonna die on the hill of we need to protect the kids, which is the parents' job. I mean, that's.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but you already seen them shift away from that though, with all the third-party, really R-rated titles, or not R-rated,
but it's one thing to buy a product, but I mean, I guess they're afraid of kids getting baited into like really dumb. It's a really kind of a thing where it's like it's that gray area of internet usage where it's like, well, we might have provided the vehicle, but it's up to you to be a good parent. I mean, that was already kind of a hard topic to pull. Even when the ESRB shit was relatively new. Like to say, hey, the parents are responsible for not buying their kids God of War and then bitching when they see titties. I mean, nowadays we just kind of accept it. Like, you wouldn't buy your kid, a ticket to Halloween if you didn't want them to see some dudes getting neck snapped or something. Or you wouldn't buy your ticket a Brazzers account if whatever. I mean, that's illegal, but the point is that you wouldn't do these certain things. It's not illegal to take your kid to see Halloween. It's just not something that I feel most parents would generally do, unless they, felt their kid was ready for it, for lack of a better word. And this, I mean, I saw a lot of R-rated movies when I was a kid. None of them heavily sexual, but it is what it is. Every parent, every kid is different. But it's sort of a parent taking care of thing. But I mean, I get but I totally don't think Nintendo will ever be on top in a console generation ever again. If Prime ever comes back, he can definitely elaborate on that. I don't think they'll ever win a console generation. They don't bring the hardware. They don't bring the massive third-party support even now. They're better at some of these things, but they're not leading the fucking charge. They're not ever going to have that moment where they just have this ridiculous support from people. I mean, they can't even get, Ubisoft might love these dudes because of the whole Starlink shit and the Rabbids or whatever, but you don't see Odyssey getting put on this, right? You don't see, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Odyssey runs like crap even on the fucking PS4, and apparently the PC version is no better, but,
it's alright, it's not
optimized, yeah, I had crashes on my version. I don't know how much you guys have played, but I had maybe 5 or 6 crashes throughout the game. Lots of slowdown. It just would not run on the Switch. I firmly believe it. And, to quote Respawn, as dickheaded as they are, because they're, that Reaper's going to come for them someday, I just personally don't believe that really would happen, in my opinion. No one is rushing to play Red Dead on the fucking Switch. It is, even if it was that's just not something that's gonna happen. But
the Switch Pro 2 XL comes out.
Okay, sure. I mean, people say that. I mean, if you meme it hard enough, maybe it'll happen. But I just personally don't see that happening.
I mean,
I'm an optimist. Yeah,
I meme everything into Smash or freaking. Well, not everything, but. Things can be memed nowadays into things.
I mean, yeah, that was literally the Smash competition.
There's a fresh word enough.
But I mean, again, I kind of get it. I just think it's the whole it was free and now it's not free thing, which isn't totally.
I mean, it always comes down to we're mad because it's happening now.
Yeah,
in a couple months we'll be fine.
A couple months we'll be fine.
Just like people forgot that they were ever mad at Sony.
some people actually might be touting how great it is that it's not $60.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude. Could you imagine
This is my
shit?
cheaper. This is my cheapest program, and I can share it with
It's the
7
console I
people.
play the most. I take it
Yeah.
everywhere, and then when I actually sit down and
Like,
play
they're
it,
always-
I can.
That always happens. Like, something is terrible, and then on the Reddit a couple months go by, and then, people
everyone
are like,
is fine with it.
Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing, dude. I
There are some exceptions. I think that if Microsoft
Yeah.
had gone ahead with their Kinect bullshit, I think that would have forever been a fucking stain. But in the grand scheme of things, like, this isn't that ridiculous. If it was $10 a month, I could totally get behind it. I would be like, yeah, that's
$20 for the
$20 a
entire
year if you plan on playing the hot new Switch shit. Like, I haven't bought it yet, right? Once Pokemon, or once there's a reason for me to put money into it, then I will buy it, and whatever. But anyway, not to talk about this for 800 years.
I got some hot news.
Uh-oh.
So, apparently 3 hours it was reported
Uh-oh.
that I'm not sure. Okay, it's not for the TV show, but the OVA voice actor for Dio, the Japanese one, passed away.
Oh, fuck.
That's
Damn,
unfortunate.
that's something.
Was the OVA the 1990s version, or?
Yeah, it is
shit.
arguably the one that is not as popular, but
Yeah, but
still
you know.
sucks.
There was I think it was Professor Oak's VA also passed away recently.
Yeah, I don't remember if we talked about that on the last podcast, but yeah.
We may or may not have, but yeah, Professor Oak's Japanese VA did pass
Voice
away.
actors are, well, celebrities are always dropping, but voice actors especially. I don't know if it's just because now I'm tuned in, but I swear, like, every other week another one dies. It's always someone that played a character I'm aware of.
On a somewhat unrelated note, but kind of related, you've watched some ASMR videos with me. Do you know the Cosmic Barber, Baba Sen? Yeah,
No.
he passed away.
Wait, Baba, like Baba,
yeah,
or
yeah, the Baba,
like the iconic
Baba. Yes, he passed away recently.
What?
Apparently, I saw like a bunch of videos where they were like rip Baba. So I don't think this is an
Whoa.
elaborate prank. I think he legit passed away. But yeah, he's an Indian guy who does ASMR videos. Like it's like poses and stuff. It's real fun to watch. But yeah, he did pass away. So if what I'm to believe is true. I didn't watch any of the videos, but apparently a bunch of people came out and were like talking about it. I saw like thumbnails and shit. But yeah, we have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Either you'll be able to use special techniques. Eevee, for instance, because Eevee's moveset is pretty poor in some of these games, Eevee will be able to learn a variety of moves from different types to help increase its move pool. I'm sorry. And additionally, you'll be able to use certain techniques in replacing HMs, so you won't have to have HM slaves anymore. That's no longer a thing. Thank the Lord, it only took them forever. And other than that, we have Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, which was kind of rumored. I think we might have talked about that last time, that they were hinting that there was going to be a new Diablo for the Switch, or at least a port for the Switch.
Yeah.
So that is true. That's coming out November 2nd, so that's actually really close. Super Mario Party, as Mr. Soundwave, you're the resident expert on torturing yourself.
I pre-ordered it, and
It's not better than Pommel Party.
I don't know about that, but Mario Party is okay. The mini games they're very okay. I find that I feel like a lot of them or a good amount of them are meant to display the features of the Joy-Cons, which is fine. I think that if you're gonna have a gimmick, you may as well make use of it, because I do think that most of the time HD rumble just feels like regular vibration. Like, people want to talk about, oh, it's so cool, and I'm like,
People are like, yeah, especially in Octopath, people are peddling the HD
Octopath
Rumble.
was lit. When you used to buy money from people or do Tressa's field skill, and you'd feel the money dropping into your hands.
I mean, it was cool, but like, I don't know. It just felt like it felt like the sound was more important than the actual rumble itself.
They need to use it more,
I don't know.
in my opinion. I think that it's a great tool. They just don't really ever use it properly. I think that's probably
how much you can
the
do with
biggest thing.
vibration. I mean, certain people probably wanted it to be like, oh, when I hit someone in Skyrim and our swords clash, I want to feel the vibration of steel in my hands and drop my Joy-Con. Because that's what happens when you hit someone's sword with yours. It vibrates at a very uncomfortable speed to hold the sword.
Actually, I honestly think that the vibrations thing is probably one of the most unique things they put in a game in a while.
Honestly.
Like I know that we have a whole bunch of VR heads who will eventually be here to shill the fuck out of it, like they work for Oculus. But in my personal opinion, I think that VR, at least the HD Rumble thing, if it's utilized properly, could be way bigger and done way better in my book. And that's just my personal opinion. I mean, if someone can, say, oh, well, look at this thing that they did with the VR and this shit, then I mean that would be a different story. But yeah, I think
VR is literally going to be limited until at some point when we're like 80 years old and they make a fucking tube that you lay in water.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
You move in the tube of suspended liquid that for whatever reason you can breathe, and just whatever dumb thing that they come up with. Because everybody's what gets me is people using like Sword Art Online as a reference for VR. That is not your average like that's not going to happen in our lifetime. I don't think. I don't think that's going to happen in our lifetime.
What would actually be really good is if we and this is complete Sword Art Season 3. Yeah. I think the best thing to do would be some form of time dilation, because I think that like if you could play games in your sleep for an extended period of time and get more shit done, I think that would be pretty cool. I think that is literally Sword Art Season 3. No spoilers, but the kind of basic. Yeah, of course. But I mean, in the realm of, hey, anime is cool. Let's make anime real again.
Not that it wouldn't be possible to do that. I think that people would legit die because they try to play games in their sleep and their conscious is actually working, and then they wake up and they've been awake for excess of 24 hours.
It's one of those sci-fi things. It's
it's
a
Black
fiction
Mirror
fantasy.
episode.
Yeah, no, legitimately, it really is a Black Mirror episode. It's a Twilight Zone. Black Mirror is really Twilight Zone, but for the modern age, which is why I'm interested.
It really is.
I'm really interested to see what Jordan Peele does with his version of it, because I think that he could really do some crazy shit, especially after Get Out. So sky's the limit with that dude. I'm tuning in for that shit. But yeah, back to the direct, since we're it happened a long time ago. I mean, it is what it is. It's a Nintendo Direct. You know what you're gonna get. City Skyline for the Switch, which will have DLC for it. It's also available on other consoles. Town, which is a working title from Game Freak. So,
that game looks alright. That's the one that was like an RPG, and they just showed villagers fighting these generico JRPG enemies.
Oh yeah.
And it's a Game Freak game, so it's a roll of the dice.
They're gonna get hit with the Notch treatment. It's going to be like, oh, Notch made this cool game that's pretty good. Nice, but what's the news on Minecraft? Like, nobody's going to... I think that happened with Temba. It was like, for a week, people were like, oh, cool, Temba. And then they were like, but what about Omega Ruby? Like, I feel so bad for them. They literally are the embodiment of the meme of being too popular to die. Like, they can't do anything else. Like, they just do Pokemon. And, like, I don't know if they're sick of it. I mean, given how much they get fucking paid for it, I imagine they couldn't be, but, stranger things have happened, so.
It looks like it has an interesting battle system, but it also looks like a very kiddie 3DS game with smoother edges. But that game's coming out next year.
You know what game,
we'll see.
On a side note that's kind of related, but also related to what you said earlier, you know what game should have been on the fucking Switch? Or should have been on a main console and was on the 3DS, and I will completely agree with you on. And you're going to agree with me on this when I say it. Final Fantasy Explorers. That game could have been the littest fucking game ever, and it just ends up being this, like, really shitty 3DS Monster Hunter ripoff with, like, a lot of cool shit in it. Like, I did really enjoy it when I played it. I just feel like it could have been better.
That was, like, the only game I ever played where I wanted to max out every class.
Yeah. What, not 14, you fuck? Hello?
No, because
oh, here fun. We go. Oh, it's fun. It's no fun when I do no DPS.
Yeah, dude, what did we say?
And it was nothing. And it was nothing but the cool shit. It was literally just boss after boss after reference after reference. It was like just nothing. It was basically if you took Final Fantasy 14 and cut out all the fucking cake filler in the middle and was just like, yo,
What?
here's
What
this
cake
event
filler?
frosting. Event.
That's because you didn't play at my level. That's the real problem.
Fuck
You
Milphilia.
needed
Fuck that
to play.
bitch. Fuck this bitch. Fuck this. It's just I don't got time.
You needed to fucking
for
play
all
at
these
my level
people.
for that shit.
No, dude,
No,
your
you
level
did.
nothing, dude. I got to the
you didn't
fucking
play
end
at
game.
Savage. No, you
did play Savage.
You played Savage shit that was like pussy bitch shit. Like I'm not gonna.
It's dude. What is new will always become pussy bitch.
Wait, why
shit.
does suffering have anything to do with
Because
Yeah, honestly,
it's
that just
actually
sounds worse.
when
It's
this
not fun
game
to suffer.
no, it's not suffering. It's more like when this game
Okay.
actually gets to high level
You don't
shit.
come back in here every day complaining.
No, but when I do well,
all you do.
When I do well, and I have
You
actual
do well.
FF logs proof that I do
You
well,
do well.
when they're not lowering my fucking
Yeah,
ratings.
dude. So what he's saying is like 10% of the time it's all right.
I mean, like when you do well, it's fun. Like I think there's a lot
That's
of
any
dude,
game.
like
That's like
Jimmy,
me saying I hate Street Fighter, but I like when I beat Grandmasters.
you've seen my fucking samurai
Never have.
logs. That's what never happened.
Dude, I don't
okay.
care about the
It's
dude.
fun.
It doesn't matter. You
Okay.
like the game, but I don't like MMOs. Are just not for me. I like. What do?
Didn't you
I've
play
probably
the?
spent about
Didn't you play
$600 on
Battle of
MMOs, and I just don't play them. Yeah, I bought it, and I'm still in Legion.
Azeroth?
It ain't happening. It ain't fucking happening. It's just no. If I could at least play WoW with a controller in my head,
Yeah, I agree.
then
It'll be so
I
much
might
better.
be more okay with doing the shit I don't care about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. WoW is like MMOs are a type of game I just need to like relax when I'm not doing anything serious. Like if I'm just doing like a generic dungeon, I don't want to fucking have to be on my keyboard.
If I had a recliner instead,
Yo,
and
WoW
a
would be the
wireless keyboard
chillest
and mouse,
game. Yeah, yo, WoW would be
that'd
so
be
chill.
A-okay.
It
But
would
it's
be
because I have
WoW
to
and
sit
chill,
up in
dude.
this chair for hours. It's just not great. It's just not great.
I was thinking
Whatever.
of resubbing because I need something to play on my other PC I'm gonna set up soon. But yeah. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. Demon X Machina comes out next year. Yoshi's Crafted World comes out spring 2019.
Woo!
Asmodee Digital. Oh,
The board game people.
Yeah, board game folks. Yeah.
Tabletop shit. Yeah, they're porting over the Lord of the Rings card game, Carcassonne, Pandemic, Catan Universe, and Munchkin, which is pretty popular. Apparently their digital releases of games are not amazing, so if you are someone who does enjoy tabletop games, you might already be aware of this, but keep an eye out and maybe wait and see what the story is, because when it comes to digital releases of tabletop, it's always a little iffy. So just you might wanna hang back on it before you hop in. I can finish it. I'm not choking anymore.
Oh, I was having
Civ-
fun.
Oh,
I
then
can't
go
let
ahead.
you. I can't let you do all the work. Civ 6 is coming to the Switch.
On the same day as Pokemon.
Oh yeah, pretty much dead on arrival. Guaranteed. That week, by the way, I would just like to recap that week for anyone who's unaware. That week is the 13th, which I believe is Tuesday, is Spyro. So Spyro Reignited. The next day, immediately following, I believe is Fallout. And then the 16th is Pokemon. That week is such a fucking killer week. Like,
It's also the week that the new Harry Potter movie comes out, Crimes of Grindelwald, and
what?
it's also the week
yeah,
that
Fantastic
most of
Beasts.
us are going to Anime NYC.
Yeah, it's what's
That
it
week
called?
is just an actual shit show.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
It
That's
doesn't
it.
have anything on the week of like
Wait,
January 19th to 25th though.
November.
Resident Evil, Kingdom Hearts 3,
Oh,
fucking, and those are only the ones I remember.
yeah,
I know there's more, but those two alone are behemoth games.
pretty much. That's the whole
November
fucking
13th.
month.
November 13th is Spyro. No, we're talking about
Is it?
January
I think I'm right.
25th.
Yeah, let me look next year
I'm
for
saying that's
January.
the week you guys are.
No. Yeah. November 16th to 18th is Anime NYC.
Yeah, it's Spyro and Hitman on the 13th, by the way. I knew I was missing something. And then Battlefield 5 comes out the 20th. So, like, that whole week's time period is just a fucking minefield for your wallet. And Darksiders 3 comes out 2 weeks after Spyro. So, like, that's fucking hectic. I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, I mean, after that, it's pretty much quiet unless you like Persona dancing games and
Oh, damn, I forgot
Just
I had
Cause
that pre-order.
4 and then Smash, and that's pretty much it. The only other game to look out for after that is Judge Eyes, but that's only Japan. So
What's coming to America? Well, it's not that.
eventually,
We're
yeah,
getting
they're
it
bringing it to
eventually.
China first. The fuck? That is some spooky
Well,
shit.
there
right
are
there, dude.
Chinese people in the Yakuza universe. So,
I mean, I guess, but it's
it
Japan,
does take
right?
place in the same exact city.
Fair enough. Yo, you're gonna. The opening of the game is gonna be fucking what's his name, Kiryu walking
Kiryu.
by. Yeah, it's for just a cameo. But yeah. Anyway, Star Fox Battle for Atlas. You know that already came out. That was very nice. Very nice.
Oh my god. It's definitely
because
not a star.
That
It's
is
gonna-
what the game is going down in history
no.
for. That it's
Yeah, which
not
is
getting remembered
actually
for anything
stupid.
else. It's
It's
literally
actually
not
stupid.
getting.
The game stands up on its own pretty well. If you got the PS4 and Xbox One versions, you did just fine. Fox is cool, the Fox missions are cool, but there's just so much other cool stuff going on in that game
But
that if
literally,
you
people stop
paid
caring.
$75 to just play as Fox the whole time, then
Who are your wingmen in that game, by
yay
the
for
way?
you. You don't get wingman the whole time.
Well, I mean, like,
But
who
like
else from
when
Star Fox is in it?
Fox's ult calls in an airstrike, and then one of your three people. So either
Who are
Peppy,
the
it
three?
rotates
Oh, it's
between
fucking
Peppy, Slippy, and Falco.
Yikes.
Well, they
I remember
alternate. It'll be Peppy, and then the next time you use it, it'll be Slippy. The next time it's Falco.
I remember when
hate
Peppy
them all
was
except
too
Falco.
old to fly. What happened to that shit? Yo, 64 is old, Nintendo. Come on. Enough is a fuck enough.
They
he
even
talks like a
have
grandpa.
they have their own side mission, don't they? Where it's like all of them talking and interacting.
Yeah, when you play the game, if you have the Switch version, I don't know if you have to be playing as Fox in the beginning. You might have to be. They show the main characters of the game and what's happening with them, and then off to the side, you see the R-Wing and Fox and company see like the shit show that's going on with the story, like the game original characters, and they're like, Fox is like, we gotta help them, and they actually incorporate him into the main story, and they will interact with him, and then he has his own side story where the reason he's in their galaxy is because he's looking for Wolf, and Wolf has
What about
his
Crystal?
own thing. Fuck Crystal. Don't actually, because I know people want to.
Ruin the
Wolf
whole
is
franchise.
actually the whole Wolf mission is actually based around Wolf trying to use the same technology that the main antagonist is trying to use to take over the world.
Can I just
So,
elaborate how lit that
They've
sounds?
canonized, they canonized the characters in that universe. Like they made them fit.
That
it
is
wasn't
fucking lit, dude.
oh, there's a fox here,
There's a
and
fox.
there's the dog he hates. No, instead it's literally Fox joins the Starlink initiative, and
That is pretty lit. I'm not
and Wolf
gonna
is
lie.
also vying for the same power that the game's main antagonist is vying for, and that because it works in such a way that they don't. If they're not there, if you don't have the Switch version, the game still stands on its own. But if you have the Switch version, you just have extra content that ties seamlessly into the main story.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that that's pretty interesting, and
It
it's
is-
better than the plot of some of these other Star Fox games lately, like Command. Command
It's
being just this awful wedge in the story.
It's not the most ambitious crossover in history, but it is probably the best executed crossover in years in gaming. Because most stuff like that will just be like, oh, I'm from another universe, oh, you're from another universe, oh, whoever, Iron Man, we have to work together. And whatever nonsense excuse that's cheesy. This
We're
was
both
cheesy.
augmented.
This
We're both-
made sense. Yeah, we're both.
We're both augmented. We should work together. I love Call of Duty role playing. Like when the round starts up, that shit is always cringeworthy as fuck. Oh my god. There's nothing else to say to that. But I actually like that. I think that sounds interesting as fuck. I mean, I'm not gonna get the game now because I'm pretty much getting it for the fucking Star Fox shit. But I mean that sounds interesting.
I'm crossing my fingers for people that want to play it but don't want to drop all the money. That because the Ubisoft games go on sale like Rabbids goes on sale the most, and it's like technically a Mario game, but it's not first party. I'm hoping that the digital deluxe version goes on sale, because the digital deluxe gets you all the Wave 1 toy stuff digitally, and so you get for $80 what would cost you over $150 if you bought it all physically. Actually, it costs you well over that, because you have to get all the extra ships. It only comes with 2 ships, and there's about 6. Yeah, there's 6, and each ship pack is $25 and comes with a pilot and weapons. Then there's the one that don't come with the ships. It's like a $300 something game if you buy everything physical. But the digital deluxe version is $80. If that can go on sale for like $50, I would legit put in the money to help someone get it, because it is, oh my lord.
Yo. The Ubisoft has been lit, honestly.
They've been doing it all right. I'm waiting for them to slip up in the sand. I'm trying not to say too loud that they're lit, because if they hear it, they're gonna do something stupid
up.
again.
Yeah, they're gonna fuck up. They're gonna do something
caught
real
up in
dumb.
the
Origins, Odyssey, For Honor, Division.
Yeah,
Mario and Rabbids, X-Time, and Star Fox. They're due for a fuck up. They're overdue for
they're really overdue for something to go wrong. Like, I have nothing against Ubisoft, because I play a lot of their games on my channel, and I like a lot of their games, even when they're not the best. But what I will say is that it tends to be that when they're at their peak performance, quote-unquote, they usually fuck up hard fucking core, and I really hate that about Ubisoft. I really wish they would not do that, because that's lame. I mean, they have these great ideas for games that really only they could do. And I just got done playing Odyssey, and it wasn't the best Assassin's Creed. It was still a really good one, and I enjoyed my 80-some hours playing as this guy who, beforehand, I usually go into these Assassin's Creed games, I don't really give a shit about the time period. Like, I might know bits and pieces, but they always know how to tell a story. And I go into this game and I actually enjoy myself. I say it's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, I like it. And all the Ubisoft needs to do is just keep this train rolling. They need to just stick with what they're good at and just do that. I mean, like, yeah, they might have these really ridiculous open worlds that are way fucking big, but at least there's content. At least you don't have to buy all the fucking shit on the side to beat the game. It's not like Skylanders or something, which is my biggest fear with Starlink, which I guess they don't do because they're not Activision. Just keep it going. Don't like the Rainbow Six chat filter is like my only big thing I could really bitch at them over. Like, that's the only thing I really fucking throw at them. But yeah. Anyway, since we're getting, I like this though. This is some good bants. I like it. It's nice. The World Ends With You final remix. Didn't you get that?
Yeah, I got it.
I thought about getting it. I decided
The
to
release
dip it.
date for that was a trip.
The 12th. Yeah. What was on the 12th?
Oh yeah.
No, it didn't. Did it?
No,
No, it came out midday
that
the next day, right?
It was supposed, yeah. So they put on the eShop that that it was coming out on the 12th, and people were like, "Oh, but the physical version says it's coming out the 13th." And I was like, "Well, maybe it's coming out early. It hasn't been that long since the game industry started saying, "Oh, if you get this version, it comes out early. If you get this version, so whatever." I was like, "Cool, the digital version gets a plus by getting it a day early." It did not.
Okay.
It did not. It came on the day. I waited. I was going to stream it. I was like, all right, it's 12 a.m. Didn't come. I was like, okay, well, Mario Party didn't come out till 12:08 a.m., so I'll wait a bit. And then half an hour in, I was just like, it's not coming out. Then at 3 a.m., it didn't come out. Then at 12 p.m. the next day, it didn't come out. Or the same day, rather. And I was like, okay, it's Thursday. It's 12 p.m. Like, games don't come out after 12 p.m. What's going on? And then at like 6 p.m., they changed the date. Oh, it's coming out the same day as the
by the way, you idiots, it's coming out later. Thanks for waiting.
By the way, no, should I be super fucking angry about it?
I mean, you
Maybe
did
not
pay...
as angry as I was, but I was mad because I was like, it's not like they addressed it on their Twitter. They just
radio silence.
Yeah, I guess somebody called and they were like, oops, and changed it.
Yeah, we forgot to flip the switch. You paid extra money for this though, right?
No, you don't pay extra.
Oh, okay. It was just a pre-order bonus. Yeah. I mean, still, like,
it wasn't a bonus. It wasn't a bonus at all. It was just listed as coming out on the wrong day. apparently, and they didn't notice at
Nobody
all.
knows. That's
until they
how
were
much of a
called on the day of
non-release. That's how much of a non-release it is. That's sad, actually. Think about how much of a non-release a game would have to be in the eyes of the publisher, that they literally don't even fucking think about it the day that it comes out. It's not even a fucking thought. And until somebody bitches at them, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, this was supposed to come out."
We forgot this was even a thing.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking scumbaggy.
Scumby, dude.
Scumby. I'm not happy about it. But it's whatever. Now
yeah.
the game is out, and I don't even touch it, because you can only play it. If you play it, you can play it touchscreen, but if you play it docked, you have to be sitting in front of your TV. Which I'm never sitting in front of my TV directly, because now I have a much bigger TV. And it's just weird. The control scheme is just as weird as I remember. I was never great with it. And
yeah, it's a very quirky game. It wasn't for me when I played it, or when I thought about getting it. Like, when I saw shit about it, I was like, yeah, this seems like a very hipster. I used the word hipster back then. I kind of was like, this seems like a very niche sort of game. I'm not that interested. And it could be a great game for all teenage me knew. It's just I was not really interested at all in it. So I just was like, yeah, forget it. It's whatever. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country. Would you believe I wrote this shit before I played that? That was a month ago. I can't even remember like how crazy that shit was back then.
You have finished the game they were advertising.
Yeah, pretty much. I've not only finished it, I've lauded it, I've said it's amazing, I've said a lot of nice things about it. But yeah, it was a good game. I had a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it if you like Xenoblade, or if you just want a nice, concise, well-polished and put together prequel. I think the game is pretty lit. I mean, it's clear that they kind of want you to play it after the main story, but you could probably play it before. It doesn't really spoil anything that happens in the main story, besides like maybe a couple cutscenes that hinted towards this game's literal existence. So, I mean, there's that. Warframe, Just Dance 2019, FIFA 19, Team Sonic Racing, NBA 2K19, and NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, and Lego DC Supervillains, all for the fucking Switch. I don't know if anyone wants to throw anything on the pile there to kind of hurry through this, I guess, so we can get on to the real meat.
Something. Warframe has been getting updates on its performance. It's starting to look a lot better and perform a lot better on the Switch. You can actually watch a video of that if you go to any of your gaming news sites, or just check up on YouTube. Just look up Warframe Performance October. You'll probably find it. Just Dance 2019 is what it is. FIFA 19, same as always. Team Sonic Racing, an absolute abomination, because Sega and Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed had characters from all over the Sega IP list. And this one is literally just Sonic, and has just less stuff, which makes no sense. NBA 2K19 is the same as it always is. 2K Playgrounds 2, as a result of its release, apparently it's much better than the first one, so much so that they actually have removed the original Playgrounds game from all stores. You cannot purchase NBA 2K Playgrounds 1 anymore.
They telltaled it.
They were like, we fucked up the first time, but they acknowledged it, and they put out a better second product. But what I do think they should have done is converted the license purchase of the first one to the second one. If they were gonna kill it within a year, it's
2K though.
I mean,
yeah, it's 2K, and
It's
I
2K.
think some people here have seen what's coming up later. It's 2K, pretty much sums it up. Final Fantasy Chronicles Switch will have online multiplayer. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD. 15. What is this today? Oh, games that came out today? Oh no, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket came out the day of the Direct, which is irrelevant now. World of Final Fantasy Maxima Edition will be coming to the Switch on November 6th. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon will come roughly this winter. It is, or some weird notes. I took these in a hurry. This is the shit where I was like, Square Enix is busting my balls like they always do. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age will be coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2019. Like, I mean, it is a PS2 game. I mean, if the Switch couldn't run it, I mean, I'd be pretty salty. They pretty much, Square Enix's new thing is they put everything on as many platforms as possible. I don't think they have super loyalty to Sony like they used to. I just think that the biggest gate for Nintendo is now their hardware. I think, and someone could correct me if they don't think so, if Nintendo's console was as powerful or you know, in the competitive field of Sony and Microsoft, these fucks would have been first in line to drop Stormblood and 15 on it. Guaranteed. Because they want 15 to do everything. I firmly believe it. Not even for a minute do I doubt that, but anyway. Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, and 10-2 for the Switch in 2019. Because Final Fantasy 8, fuck Final Fantasy 8. And Smash Ultimate Switch will have the full game download, custom Joy-Cons and dock, and I'm sure it's gone now, but there you have it. Oh yeah, and Isabelle from Animal Crossing is going to be in Smash. So, everyone who hyped that and hinted that got their fucking complete wish. Congratulations.
I'm telling you, Gino is next, dude. I'm telling you, Gino is next.
Gino is irrelevant. I fucking don't believe that. I could believe Isabelle, because Animal Crossing only had one character with 2 palette swaps for male and female. I don't believe Gino from an outdated game. I don't believe that.
Yeah, but they got Ice Climbers.
Yeah, but like Ice Climbers is a meme character, because if they got rid of Ice Climbers, Game & Watch, Duck Hunt, and Rob, I'm pretty sure nobody would even fucking remember who they are. Like, they keep around some characters, like, because they were there at the beginning, or in Melee, and it was like, you know what, as homage to these characters, we don't get rid of them. But they did get rid of Ice Climbers because of the fucking 3DS version. Again,
I think you're wrong.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe I will be.
You're wrong.
Okay, so what's the
believe
stipulation?
Gino.
If Gino gets put in because of anything besides like a fan poll, where they clearly like you know fan polls, they could rig it for almost anything. Then you're completely correct. But and this could be post-launch within like a year or two. This could be literally tomorrow. But if it's a fan poll, you know they'll listen to the fans, and it's a Nintendo title. They'll.
Do you think Sergio's right and Xenoblade is coming?
I don't think so. I think Xenoblade 2 is not getting in. I don't know if it's because of the titties. I don't know if it's just because the game is new or whatever. The B team worked on it, but I don't think Rex.
But Sakurai tends to, after a game does well in his previous game, he adds more people from.
I mean, it's possible. I just don't think Rex will be in at launch. I don't think Rex or whoever the fuck you want to say will get put. It'll probably be Rex, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Not in
so
the
you say
future.
they might come, but they.
I think Rex is more likely than Gino because Rex is relevant. Like if they want to, because when you put a character in Smash, you boost the awareness of that character to people who really don't know anything about the game. Possibly, like we're talking people not like us, people who go into GameStop and ask if they sell Fortnite, which is a true story. I'm not shitting on that person, but they legitimately went into GameStop and asked for their kid. You know, hey, is Fortnite on? You know, do you guys sell Fortnite? They have no clue. So you put in someone like fucking Roy and Marth, and all of a sudden, 10 years later, Fire Emblem has almost as many characters, has a full-on blown franchise, and it's basically approaching big Nintendo. It probably surpassed Star Fox and Metroid at this point. Like, that's something. And it all started with 2 weeaboos getting put in a fucking video game, swinging swords and speaking Japanese. I mean, what are they called? Fucking...
Japanese characters?
No. Yes, they put in 2 Jap dudes swinging swords, and pretty much they made billions from it. For basically reskinning them, by the way. They were literally almost the same. Yeah, no, they print money. Nintendo knows how to print money, except for taking the PlayStation away from Sony. If I had Sony develop that shit, I would have snatched that shit the fuck up. That would have been the Nintendo PlayStation. We would be living in...
You don't want your money.
You know what I really imagine? The Nintendo timeline where they totally delete PlayStation, kill Sega, and Microsoft kinda enters, but not really. I imagine it to be like some Wolfenstein 2 alternate timeline bullshit, where they have like the Nintendo blimps in the air and just everything is on the Nintendo PlayStation. Think about it. They gave up a monopoly for this shit. Just imagine that. That is fucking wild. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but that's another discussion for another time. Yeah, that's. Oh, I watched the E3 1995, by the way. I was actually going to do a video on it, but I said it's not worth it. Basically, Sega says they have big plans and they imagine people will buy all their consoles. And, well, you know. Anyway,
that worked out.
They were like, we put like $5 billion or something into it. I forget how much they put in. They were really bragging that, like, oh, you don't want your kids playing on PCs. You want them playing on consoles. So they're like, oh, we believe people will buy our Genesis, our 32X, our Sega CD, and our Saturn to play Virtua Fighter and Daytona on.
We're gonna sell out of this shit.
And they get fucked so hard.
You can only blame Sega of Japan. You can't blame Sega of America. Sega's laughing about something that happened in the 90s.
Literally the year he was born.
No, E3 1995 actually took place.
Is that not the year you guys were born?
Yeah, it is, but it took place before I was born.
So your birth fucked them.
No, I was born after. No, it's they're over here like they're so happy to talk about. Okay.
You hear the theme?
Oh. And then the Nintendo guy comes on. This is the last thing I'll say. The Nintendo guy comes up, and their whole conference is about piracy. Yo, E3 was a trip before like 2000. It almost has nothing to do with the games, which is true because it was a business meeting. It's so fucking crazy. Oh my god, Sega is amazing. Please, I love Sega. I'm sorry. Okay.
You good?
I'm calmed down.
You good?
I'm okay now. I'm good. I swear I'm good. Yeah, I swear I'm good. Let's not get me back.
Ring dinger?
Yeah, they got rung dung, these fucking idiots. Anyway.
No one can see the future.
No, you're right. But
path.
they fell on some spikes. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that they knew what they were dealing with, especially with Sony literally coming in to murder them. But they sure as
They
fuck
didn't get murdered at all.
they sure as fuck threw themselves on the spike bed.
I don't know.
They walked face first into the guillotine. Okay. We're good. Battlefield 5. Oh, this is old shit, but I'll read it anyway. Because earlier I mentioned the Rainbow Six chat thing. Basically what Rainbow Six did, I don't know if they've rescinded this, or is it still in effect, Andy?
I don't know. I don't really
Nobody wants to test it. Yeah, nobody wants to, I wouldn't want to test it. Basically what Rainbow Six was doing at one point is if you said certain words in the text chat, the game would auto-ban you, basically, from matchmaking. It would kick you out the game. No warning, you just get DOS boot, you're on cooldown for some amount of time that would increase over time, I believe. One of these words, and I commonly bring this up as these guys are probably sick of hearing about, is this goes across language barriers. So if, for instance, you type the word Negro, Negro, into the text box in any version of the game, you will get kicked. Even though one of the expansions for the game is called Black Ice, and as my fellow trusty Spanish fluent friend over here can say, how do you say Black Ice in Spanish? Hielo Negro?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Look at that. I'm fluent too. Yeah, so they had a whole, that I remember that made a minor wave because people were basically typing, what is it? Some dude's name was like Chink in Armor. Like chink, like a break in the armor, like chink in armor, and some dude like abbreviated his name because it's a fucking competitive game. You don't have time to type out an essay. He was like, "Hey Chink, can you watch this door?" And so he got fucking kicked because the game thought he was trying to be racist. It's amazing. So Battlefield 5, because Battlefield 5 has a lot of positive press going into their release, obviously. They already, for the beta, had chat channels restrict words such as white man, DLC, lag, and Titanfall. The last one really fucking gets me, because Battlefield and Titanfall are released by the same publisher, and Respawn isn't apparently about to get fucked by EA at any point in the near future. But if you type the words free DLC, that's not censored. But if you type just the literal letters DLC, that gets censored. You don't get penalized, it just gets like asterisked. they came out and said that it's a work in progress. Given the YouTube bot that they kind of put into action a few days ago, I think this is, it's part of that push to sanitize gaming and the internet. I mean, it's gonna happen at some point or other. But I think it ends up with you really end up with these really ridiculous, funny shits. Like, yeah, the term white man should never occur in a game where you're literally fighting, like, it's combat, it's gunplay. But why even bother to censor it is the better question. Like, I don't know if they're afraid that neo-Nazis or some shit are using video game chat channels.
Nazis in my World War II game.
Whatever will I do? Next they're gonna, whatever. Some dude is gonna start typing Mein Kampf into general chat, I guess, is what they're afraid. I don't know. DLC and lag being restricted, that's overkill. I could not even, you couldn't even make like a social justice argument for that, really. And Titanfall, I'm telling you, when they get fucked, it's gonna be a 24-hour stream. I'm just gonna be popping party poppers and drinking booze, cheap booze, by the way. It's gonna be lit. Oh yeah.
I mean, they already said that Battlefield 5 was 10 minutes behind development time.
10 minutes or months?
I mean, 10 months. 10 months.
Oh, that's inspiring, man.
Development and like the
game
delayed
it to what now?
No, it's November, I think, right? It's still November.
No, they delayed it.
No, they did delay it to November. Yeah, it's still November 20th.
I thought they delayed the game.
On Wikipedia it still says the 20th, and Wikipedia's calendar usually gets updated pretty quickly. I mean, Battlefield 5 has been just this shit fest of controversy and memes since the day it was announced, and that is incredible. Between the Elite Edition of the game has the guy on the box art, and it's $80, so it's the 75 cents to every dollar meme. Like, there's a lot of fucking shit going on with Battlefield 5, and I'm just waiting for it to drop so we can see, like, those meme videos of how broken the game is on day one, like every game gets. I think that'll be pretty funny. I have no love for EA. I don't. I admit it. They're EA. They I like to laugh at them. Sue me. I don't know. Anyone, any comments, thoughts, critiques?
Yeah, they were talking about changes to the game because people a ton.
Because it kind of sucks.
People complaining about about like adding a dedicated lean mechanic and other stuff like that. Yeah, people don't particularly like where it's headed right now, especially with the packs. I think like the healing packs and stuff. The fact that you don't spawn with one, people didn't like that. You had to kind of just like halt what you were doing to get like healing.
See,
and so they are doing a kind of a PUBG style thing with in terms of like if the last day is a tie. I don't know if you know the new game mode where it takes place over the course of days, and if it's even on both sides, then it'll kind of be a last stand kind of deal where
that's pretty cool.
Where everybody has a limited amount of ammo, no respawning, and there's going to be a map that gets progressively smaller by like a blizzard or whatever hazard. And yeah, so whichever team is last man standing, and if you die, you spectate other people on your team until you get to the last team member. And it's really cool, but the problem is that they have like a whole bunch of issues surrounding like how it's gonna fit in. I mean, it's gonna be really niche, but like they're wondering how it's gonna fit in. People are saying that this should just be a game mode. Like they're having like problems implementing it. So.
Thanks for reminding me I need to cancel my digital pre-order on Amazon.
Absolutely, get rid of that shit. Get it the fuck out of here.
But I am gonna play that game. I think that game was fun as hell. But
yeah,
the only reason I'm not getting it day one is because I got
I think
Black
it's
Ops.
a well-made game. It's just rushed.
It seems a little lacking.
It just needs to be finished.
Some more time in the oven.
Yeah.
What it really is that they know that COD's about to drop for the holiday season.
It has dropped.
Yeah,
I mean, already did at this point, but they know COD. They know COD is going to drop this, right? But COD is on a 3-year rotation at this point, and they have tons of fucking money and time to pour into it. And they know that they are obligated to compete with Call of Duty. They have to. That is their destiny. They will compete with COD every time that they can. So they already know that they have to release a game this fall. They know that there is no other way around it. That is the only thing that they can do. It is the only option available to them. They have to drop a game this fall. They're not saying, oh, this game will be ready around fall. No, they're saying the game will be out this fall. Now it needs to be made ready. That's what they're really doing. And that's how fucking... This is... Listen, dude. If EA's fucking up, I ain't gonna say shit. I'm not gonna give them any fucking advice. I want them to do it. Keep fucking up. Because every time you fuck up, we get shit like this, and I love it. This is Schadenfreude Live. Beyond Spray and Pray is fucking dead, dude. I don't give a shit. This is Schadenfreude Live, and I fucking love it. Anyway. PlayStation Classic. Sony, once again, everything Nintendo does, Sony has to take. Between the PlayStation Move and the good games and all that, you know. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. They won't add any games to it after launch. It's not going to have any access to PlayStation Online. So what I'm really hoping is, like with the NES shit, you'll be able to hack this or whatever. Because I would love to put some Spyro on this shit. Like, even the classics, you know what I mean? And I know, yes, I'm aware Spyro's coming out. I'm not saying I'm going to get this now, but, you know. It would be cool if in like...
we get the PSP Classic?
Yeah, PSP had some good games, yeah.
PSP had some good games.
Like the DS had some games that should get remade. But yeah, you know, maybe someday. You know, maybe not for PlayStation Portable, though. I think they moved all the PlayStation Portable games that they liked, other than Crisis Core. Everything else can kind of...
No, they didn't like it.
No, people love Crisis Core. It's fine. It's 7. Anyway.
Sony didn't like.
Oh, well, Sony doesn't like a lot of shit. They don't like crossplay. They also don't like the other thing we're going to talk about in a little bit, but
they don't like anime.
Oh yeah, when is that? That's a while from now. Let's get into this. Telltale Games. Big problems, my friends. Telltale Games closed its doors, citing money problems. They're done. They're kaput. That's it. So now, if anyone who's listening to this isn't somehow in the loop about this, which I doubt, they were currently in the middle, literally smack dab in the middle, of The Walking Dead Season 4, which was The Walking Dead, the final season. It's the last season of Clementine's story. They're done after this. They're not making anymore, presumably. At least at the time. But they were pretty stand up on saying this is it. So... Telltale Games had about 300 or so employees working there full-time. Randomly, they decided on, I believe, like, mid-September, like September 17th and 18th, that they were just going to lay off 275 of their workers. And that only 25 members will actually remain to finish working on The Walking Dead Season 4. What that really meant is that 25 people are just there to clean up and release episode 2 before they leave. So, as of right now, season 2's fate, or season... What happened?
4? 3 or 4?
What about... what do you mean?
Season. You're saying 2, but it's like 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Episode 2 of season 4. Episode 2 of Walking Dead season 4. So, episodes 3 and 4 of the final season are not looking like they're going to be released. Now, I've heard a couple rumors that people are going to try to rehire them or figure it out, but as of this point, it's looking pretty dead. It's looking pretty done. Wolf Among Us Season 2 and Stranger Things, the series, are canceled. Unfortunately, that means that for those of us who waited 6 years to get hyped for Season 2 of The Wolf Among Us, I guess it's just going to forever be one of those great games that will never get a sequel, even though it really deserved it and it was really good. And Netflix will go ahead and make their Stranger Things game without Telltale. They're looking into that. Walking Dead, the final season episode 2... Oh, wait, hold... Yeah, so the final episodes may or may not be released. It's looking like they're not. There will be no refunds if you bought the season pass, so you literally got jerked off if you bought the season pass. And then they pulled the final season from shelves, so they gave it the Afro Samurai treatment. It's no longer available for purchase because it will no longer be finished, which, I mean, it's fair, but they cited it at the time on September 25th as a, quote, temporary pause of sales, unquote. I feel like that's going to be pretty permanent. Now, any thoughts on that before we get into the legal Warfare?
Telltale always sucked. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll actually lead off of that. If people don't remember, a lot of, like, most people have complained about Telltale games for the last couple of years. I mean, they haven't been as high quality as basically Walking Dead Season 1. I'm pretty sure Walking Dead Season
They
1...
made two good things ever, apparently.
Yeah, Jurassic Park and Back to the Future. But yeah, they only made 2 games that were ever profitable. I believe it was Walking Dead and... Fuck, what was the other
Wolf
one?
Among Us?
No, was it Wolf Among... No, it was Batman Season 1. Batman Season 1, I think, was the other game that they made that was profitable. Everything else did not return a profit. So every other game that they made, with all these expensive IPs and all that, they basically were blowing their Walking Dead cash cow. And they ruined themselves because of it. Telltale games have been running pretty much on the same engine. They've run pretty crappily. They're, you know, I mean, we could talk about the quality of the game story and all that. I mean, I didn't play most of them because I got bored after Season 2 of The Walking Dead. But for the most part, they have pretty much not done anything ridiculous. They basically came out swinging with a game that nobody expected, and it brought a lot of publicity and a lot of hype. And since then, they've, according to the documents...
Issue, along with that, is that they made this game, and it was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then the illusion got peeled back real quick of choice. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I think they're probably up there with Mass Effect for, like, this whole illusion of free choice bullshit. Like, I think
well, at least Mass Effect carried a lot more when it came to deaths.
Yeah, like, if someone dies in Mass Effect, that's fucking it. They're dead. They're not coming back.
And it's not even, like, coming back. You can choose who dies. You can literally make a specific playthrough of, I don't want this nigga to live.
Well, some people
do that in The
are
Walking Dead.
unavoidable, but yeah, like, you can choose who makes
but
it
there
to
are
final
people you
fights.
can choose to live, and they will not come back.
Walking Dead didn't really have that too much.
You know, it was like, this person is going to die no matter what you pick.
Am I sad that a bunch of people who worked hard, and the best part is that the upper management knew, and the previous CEO, who was a co-founder of it, knew that basically the shareholders were going to run them into the ground, which is why he left. He quote left. I believe that there's a little more to that, but he left because he pretty much knew that this was going to go under, that they weren't going to be able to sustain this because they were buying out licensing for Game of Thrones, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman, Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead for like 4 seasons. They technically had like 4.5 because they made 400 Days and Michonne. So technically they almost had 5 seasons, but yeah, 4 seasons with Clementine and a couple side episodes. Borderlands, the game, yeah, Telltale has done a lot, but most of it has just not been profitable for them, according to them, and the CEOs and higher-ups knew it. So Mr. Instant Retreat and I, we were talking at length before about, what was it, the Nintendo and the shareholders or something, or some game company and the shareholders.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Like, if the shareholders tell them to kill themselves, like, you know, monetarily commit business suicide, then they have to do it. I mean, this is literally that. The shareholders held out, I guess, on the hope. Yeah, take your time, dude. The shareholders held out on the hope they were going to drop another season 1, and lightning does not strike twice when you intentionally try to rub sticks on where it struck before. Like, that generally does not happen. So, you know, it fucked them. This is literally a real world example of, we know what we're doing will not work forever, but the people who have the money pull the strings and sit on the board, you know, they don't see it as, well, games have to appeal to people. They see it as, well, we want to make money. And, you know, making Walking Dead Season 1 made a bunch of money. And they just ran with it. And then now they're out of a job. These people are out of a job. I guarantee you the shareholders and shit just, you know, wipe their hand. Like Mr. fucking Instant Retreat said. They wipe their fucking hands clean, and they just go to the next project. It doesn't matter to them.
Yep.
Doesn't matter that much. You know, we're all puppets on strings. I think I said this about Square Enix, actually. You know, if they...
Oh, yeah, it was Square Enix. I think it was Square Enix.
Yeah, it was some about... I don't really remember the whole of it, but, I mean, yeah. I'm sad that these dudes, they didn't make this decision of their own accord. They were basically handcuffed to this shit this sinking ship. And then, unsurprisingly, they could move along the railing to the top, but after that, that's it. They went under. It's kind of like, unlike Respawn, where Vincent Zampella willingly want to work with EA, these guys were, even the fucking CEO left. Imagine if West and Vincent Zampella left because they were like, we don't want to work for EA. They would be like that type of shit. But they were forced. But the woes do not stop there, believe it or not. The woes continue. Telltale apparently violated WARN laws and labor laws and has been hit with a class action lawsuit. Now, I'm not sure how this trial is progressing, but at the time of me writing this, to summarize an article from Polygon, yes, I know I used a Polygon article for this. The Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, or WARN, which is a law that was enacted in 1988, states that businesses with at least 100 full-time employees must notify employees at least 60 days in advance of any mass layoffs or plant closings. A, quote, mass layoff, unquote, is defined as a reduction of 50 or more employees within a 30-day period if 50 is greater than or equal to one third of the total workforce, or any layoff of 500 or more workers. Now, the state of California, because there's both federal and state level versions of WARN, the state of California, in which Telltale is based, is more strict on businesses in regard to WARN laws. The company threshold is 75, down from 100 full-time employees, and a reduction is defined of at least 50 employees. Both the federal WARN and the California state WARN laws require 60 days notice irregardless. Now, if the plaintiffs win the case, Telltale will be required to pay a full 60-day salary and benefits if they were employed for 60 days after when they were terminated. The plaintiffs are requesting a jury trial and are looking to win their 60-day salary and benefits in addition to interests. Telltale can technically defend the federal violation by citing a WARN business circumstances exception. However, the state or California WARN has no such clause. The exemption is that businesses, the business circumstance exception is that if something happened that was not reasonably foreseeable, then they're not liable. And their excuse that, at least they pose in the article, it's not an excuse. The legal reasoning that they were proposing Telltale might play is that they were in the process of trying to secure additional funding, but the last backer who could have helped them, who was Lionsgate, basically pulled out, and that was the end of Telltale. Now, again, the state WARN has no clause for this. It's that they did something that if they get sued and these people do follow through with it, they will probably win that case based on the fact that the state WARN is pretty much very strict on that. So I guess in 3 years we'll finally see these dudes get paid. I don't know. Feels bad. I think the worst part is that they're just out of a job. I mean, a lot of people were hiring them, it seems like.
Yeah, they were getting offers from like Ubisoft
everywhere. Yeah, because they can make games. I mean, their games are good.
Some of the writers are exceptional, but you can only get whipped so much before you can.
Yeah, before you break, pretty much. Especially back to back, by the way. Like, it's not like David Cage and Quantic Dream, where they release a game every like 5 years or something. It's like
one every fucking millennia and shit.
Yeah, but when they drop it, it's legitimately like hot fire. Like, the game is amazing.
That also helps in your marketing. If you don't make a game every fucking 5 minutes, you can't drop 9 games in 2 years.
Yeah,
it's supply and demand. Supply and demand.
Yeah, like, look at Ubisoft. They started slowing shit down. They're like, wait a minute, guys. We're just making ass. Like, we're just making stuff too fast that quality is not up there, so we're not making our return.
And people are hyped. Like, even if the quality
slow down Assassin's Creed and make good ones, but I mean, yeah, they might have to wait, but that generates hype as well. And then we make more money this way because you guys are not burned out. Other people are not burned out. Our customers are not burned out. And we can take the time to make a good damn game.
Yeah, like, the only games I know that are exempt to this rule are... Even Pokemon takes a break, by the way. Every few years, they just won't release, like, a big Pokemon game. But technically, Pokemon has a yearly release, kind of. If you want to count Let's Go. I mean, Let's Go is a major title. But the big games that do this every fucking year, we all know what the fuck they are. It's Call of Duty, 2K, NFL, to a lesser degree, those other sports games like hockey and all that. Baseball.
That's also every year.
Yeah, like all those games also do it every year, but not to the same level. It's really just like 2K, COD. Trying to think, like basically sports games, to be honest. Like, you know, like in COD, I just think COD is too big to fail. It will be a long time before COD actually loses enough steam to be affected by this rule. And I just don't see it happening. It's just too much of a go-to game. You know, people said PUBG was going to kill it. PUBG is not dead, but it's not as big.
It's close.
It's up there. It's still up there. Like Fortnite.
It is approaching it. Fortnite, this is one of the few times we can see, like especially recently, where a game absolutely killed another one.
Yeah, Fortnite's free to play, and just the fact it's on everything has. And trust me, like I like Fortnite. I think I like PUBG a bit better because it's shooting, but I like building. But it's pretty hard to even say that PUBG is in a good position when Fortnite just gets way more publicity. It seems they have way more ads going out on TV. Because it markets to everyone. It's like Minecraft all over again, pretty much.
Yeah, it's Minecraft with guns.
You could do whatever the fuck you want. Well, not whatever the fuck you want, but it's
as the great Adam Kovic said, Minecraft with guns.
Yeah.
Just like he said, it's Skyrim with guns.
Oh, don't remind me. That was IGN has had a rough time, dude. But yeah, like there's a couple games that are just too big to do that. Telltale, even Ubisoft. I mean, yeah, they released Odyssey a year after Origins, but they did take a year off before Origins. And according to them, they are taking next year off, 2019. There will not be an Assassin's Creed game.
Oh,
so
they're fucking Odyssey then. Could have waited.
I mean, yeah, that is true. But it's a good game. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like it's a bad game or something. It is a good. If you like Origins, you'll like Odyssey. Bless you, by the way, by the same virtue. Telltale just does too much, I feel. And like, it was funny when it was Jurassic Park, and it's obviously a game that's like a shitpost, and it's a meme. Dumb shit is happening, but it's set in a universe that I find to be pretty interesting at that time. Back to the Future, I didn't hear anything really bad about it. Like, it was a pretty out of nowhere type of a deal. Walking Dead clearly was the one that put them on the map. And ever since then, it's just been kind of like, oh, what's Telltale doing this year? You know, it's not to say that people haven't bought their games, but it's not the same frenzy as it was. And I don't think they will ever reclaim that frenzy. And unfortunately, it led to their company's death. Now, Melissa Hutchinson, who was Clementine's English voice actress, expressed sadness that Season 4 will not be finished, and that The Wolf Among Us Season 2 will not be made. For clarity, I just said she voices Clementine in The Walking Dead, but she also voices Beauty in The Wolf Among Us, which I actually didn't know. She had a whole Twitter post about it, and it's truly tragic, to say the least. It really goes to show you that quality, and as I said this a million times, quality beats quantity on anything if you're not 2K and COD. That's pretty much the end of the story. It doesn't matter what the fuck you are, what you make. Quality will always trump quantity. And that's just the end of the story. I don't know any other games where they just drop shit like that and it's okay. And then people just let them get away with it. And not only get away with it, buy it. You know what I mean? Like, support them. But yeah, Netflix will still make Stranger Things game without Telltale. And that's pretty much it for now for Telltale. They're done. They closed their doors. There's pretty much nobody left, and it's truly a tragedy. But it's what they wanted. It's what the shareholders wanted. And I mean, you know,
and they get their way, dude. They lose out on this opportunity. Oh well.
No, well, what does it matter?
It sucks that they have to
Microsoft.
Suffer. It sucks that Telltale has to suffer. But
yeah,
what can you do?
It's truly awful. It is truly a horrific thing.
That's why this world works, though. Money, money, money.
Gotta get that money. So, Capcom Vancouver also closed their doors roughly around the same time. They are the current Dead Rising dev, as well as the Biggs baseball game dev. They were responsible for Dead Rising 4, which is pretty much why I don't see anyone really mourning them too hard. Enough said on that. The amount of projects canceled by them, I think, was projected to cost about $40 million. But
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's Capcom.
But at the same time, it really isn't.
Yeah, they'll figure it. It's Capcom. They make a lot of fucking money. I mean, you know, compared to a few years ago, they certainly are making a lot of money. Am I right?
Yep.
Ace Attorney Trilogy. Speaking of Capcom, Ace Attorney Trilogy is coming to Switch, PC, Xbox One, and PS4 in 2019. Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition and Hollow Realization announced for Switch. I don't really care about the Super Mario Party bullshit. It's irrelevant. And let me touch on this really quickly before we get into the last two topics. Toys R Us is returning as Jeffrey's Toy Box. Instead of being a standalone store, it will now just be a in-store department. So if you've ever gone into a store and they have like the Lego section, it seems like they're going to keep Toys R Us alive in a much smaller capacity, which is funny because Toys R Us used to do the same thing. It used to have minor stores inside of itself, but you know what? For what it's worth, I actually like that it's still around, because when I was a kid, even though I pretty early got into games, there was no greater happiness than just walking into a Toys R Us. Like, just period. Like, there is something you have to be a kid to totally appreciate.
I don't want to grow up. My store is closed forever. What?
What?
Nothing.
It's coming back. And the Marvel Netflix empire is crushed. Netflix's Marvel empire, right? Yeah, Netflix's Marvel empire is crumbling. Luke Cage was canceled after 2 seasons.
They got snapped, nigga.
Iron Fist is canceled after 2 seasons. And while Daredevil is set to get a season 3, Jessica Jones and I presume the Defenders and Punisher, their fates are unknown. I propose that this is a move to Disney's streaming service, because I remember reading about that they want to make a streaming service for Disney with, you know, Star Wars and all that. So I personally feel that this is them moving this stuff over. Now, I don't know if they'll get another season, but I do feel like they want to. It's the age of everyone has proprietary stream clients, you know what I mean? Like, why everyone's already doing it in gaming. Like, Fallout 76 is only going to be on the Bethesda launcher, from what I understand.
Yep.
COD, the new COD, Black Ops 4, is only on the Battle.net launcher, which is owned by Activision because they own Blizzard, which is crazy because Battle.net used to only be for Warcraft and StarCraft. And here we are, Call of Duty and Destiny are on it. Because,
and Diablo.
Oh yeah, well I mean, that's a Blizzard game. But yeah, like other non-Blizzard developed Activision titles.
No, I'm saying like it was Call of Duty, StarCraft. It was StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo were the 3.
Did Diablo have it on day one? I don't remember linking Battle.net on the console version, but that's the console version, so who knows. I think I did actually. I don't remember. Yes, it was a lot of stuff. It was the big 3, basically, and then they added in Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and Hearthstone, you know, that sort of a deal. Like, it basically, the argument is, this is how Steam got big, by the way, so hopefully doing this will eventually cause them to go back to making games. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, yeah, that was the other stockholder thing. I remember this. Yeah. This is the other stockholder argument. Like, they don't even, why even do it? There's no reason to fucking do it.
Release the games.
Yeah.
The stockholders, like, well, we're making more money now.
Yeah, why would we even divert?
Piss off the fans? Why do freaking? Well, not piss off the fans, but potentially.
Why even risk the less than 1% chance they won't be happy, and it won't sell out because of the meme?
Exactly. Like, any money we make from that is not worth the potential risk.
Yeah, just
even though they could make a ton of money, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel, and this is my opinion. I'm no business analyst, but. I mean, I could have told Sega not to release like 3 consoles in the span of 8 months, worth about $1,000.
The Americans told them that. The Japanese didn't listen.
That seems to be a reoccurring thing in video games. The Americans tell the Japs, don't do that, and they do it anyway, and it's fucking awful for them.
They really should start like, hey,
they really need to listen
USA
to the Americans.
Is telling Atlas, like, yo,
yeah,
you know, we're starting to release everything on PC and every other console because fuck that stupid exclusivity shit. Am I right? Am I right? Anyway, do it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I really do feel like they need to listen to the Americans, and I know that it's not even like necessarily a racism or a pride thing, but it is one of those things that time and time again has literally screwed them over for no fucking reason.
Yeah, basically, also, like, with other games, it's like, yo, release this game in America.
But it might not work, nigga. There's more weeaboos in our country than yours. Let's go.
Yeah, and I mean, like...
And then they listen, they make mad money.
It's always funny because they'll be like with Yakuza, right? It's shattered their expectation.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it won't sell. It won't do this.
It sold so much on PC.
And then
I'm talking about the PC release. And it's like, we made so much on it. It's like, yeah, nigga, if you release the game, people will buy the game.
People will buy the game. Like, people want this shit. Like, it's like with Metroid. Like, Metroid, and I bring Metroid up because I could not think of a better example of people not understanding their audience. Metroid comes up, people, you know, it doesn't sell well in Japan. It sells like crazy in America.
Yeah,
it sells like fucking wild cake. They sell 5 times as many copies here, into the millions, than they do in Japan, which may break like lifetime 500, 700,000 sales. So clearly Metroid is it's a Westerner's joy. We like it either because of the aliens origin, or just because it just appeals to Americans for some reason. Whatever, who gives a shit? It just sells, right? And so in Japan, and this is something I was looking into because I was planning a video about Other M. Sakamoto, and I have a lot of very colorful things to say about him and his decisions with Other M onward. He decided to make Other M a Japanese-centric game. Basically, to summarize it very quickly, he wanted to make Other M like a Japanese game that the Japs would like, and it would get them into Metroid. Not only did that not work for the Japanese, it basically backfired twofold in America and pretty much killed the franchise for about 7 years. Then 5 years after that, they released Federation Force, which pretty much did nothing but piss off the fan base even more. I can laugh about it now, but back then, there was some salty fucking people, including myself, that they would kill Metroid, basically, because they want to bite off a Kojima game and drop that. And then they release Samus Returns, and everyone loves it. It's like, but you could have just done this, like, in 2012, and everything would have been great. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Square Enix and the whole Final Fantasy shit. That's its own can of worms. Probably even worse than Nintendo. But, yeah, I don't know. Japs don't listen to Americans. We buy a lot of their shit. They still don't listen to us. We keep buying their shit. I mean, eventually something will give.
Same thing with Monster Hunter. Literally, freaking... They released Monster Hunter World because they didn't think people like Monster Hunter, but America's like, yo, release this shit over here. Release this shit over here. They're like, nah,
we don't know if you guys will buy it. You're trolling us.
Stuff, but they don't commit. And then finally, freaking World.
They half-ass it and they love it.
The freaking water, dude.
Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco, whatever the fuck, they are the biggest offenders of this because I remember when Tales came out, they released it on the GameCube. People loved Symphonia. They released Vesperia. People still rave about Vesperia to this day. And then, so that, you know, it comes time, when is Xillia coming out? Xillia came out in Japan in 2011. It didn't come out in America until 2013 because these fucks are like, well, we don't know if it'll sell. We don't know. And we don't even know if we want to localize the sequel if we localize the first game. Sold. It's sold out. It's massively profitable. And now they don't have a problem with it. But for years, it's like they just... And they did the same thing with Sword Art, by the way. The Infinity Moment. They didn't even release that in America. They didn't even half-ass release it. They released Hollow Fragment in probably what is the most broken day one version of any localized game ever. The English did not make sense. I have a lot of screenshots of the English being basically... No native speaker read over that script. Not a single one. But you know what? Still sold. And to this day, they still release Sword Art games constantly. Almost on a bi-yearly basis, if not faster than that. So clearly, Americans like Jap shit. I don't know what else to say to that. Anyway. They need to...
like, it's not that... Like, the original point was that the Japanese do not listen to Americans.
Yeah.
And I get they don't, and I know why they don't, but
it doesn't actually, like, the track record doesn't explain why they don't.
Yeah, I would argue that.
I don't think there's been a situation where an American branch was like, "Hey, you guys should do this," and
Of a
the
major
Japanese
game, yeah.
listened, and it failed.
Like, of a major game, too. Like, I mean, Sword Art might not be the most major game, but it's not like an indie game. Like, it was developed by Namco's a pretty decent group of people under Namco. Like, and it was, at the time, Sword Art was red hot. I mean, you know, it still is, but at the time, Sword Art was popping. Oh, Season 2. I think it came out the same summer as Season 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, Sword Art is popping, and was popping at the time. It's like, this is hot. It's like, this anime is popular. Release this shit. Come on. It's like, you know, people like to play their Weeb games to go with their Weeb anime. But, yo, I still think the Yakuza devs should make a Tuaro Majutsu game. But anyway, they got Judge Eye, so, you know. But, long tangent cut short, yeah, it's the age of proprietary clients. Why the fuck would I pay Steam, you know, hypothetically $10 to host my game? Obviously, it's way more than that. But why would I pay Steam $10 to host my game when I could host it on my own shit? You know, not for free, but for significantly less, because I'm not paying the middleman. I am the provider, the creator, the publisher, and the middleman. So all that shit is just internalized. That's just my internalized cost. And I think that's what Disney's doing. I think that's what DC's doing. I think that's what Ubisoft, not Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, Activision, there's no reason to drop this shit on Steam anymore. Like,
why pay Steam for something you can do yourself and make more money?
Why pay Steam the blood tithe when you could just simply have them?
There's a risk involved with not being on Steam.
I mean, you're right, because Steam is such an install base.
Discoverability is the problem.
Like, I'm surprised this honestly didn't happen sooner.
There was one competitor to Steam before Steam, and the only reason Steam exists is because of this competitor.
No, but I'm
saying technically Steam is second.
It took so long for this to happen, though.
Because
I'm surprised that it's taking this long. Because they've seen the money that Steam makes. Like, they had to have known, like, listen, dude, maybe we should think about getting our own platform.
I think the biggest barrier to it is that Steam had such a huge install base that, and I don't want to say that this is totally what happened, but basically I think what companies were gauging is brand awareness and how likely people are to not buy stuff on Steam. And I think that with Battle.net being basically around since before Steam and just evolving into this natural client, I think Battle.net kind of paved the way. I think despite how shitty it is, Origin also paved the way a bit, because EA just bullheadedly did this shit. They just said, fuck that, we're not paying them anymore, and they bullheadedly stuck with it. I think that opens the foot in the door for other companies to say, well, listen, if people know about Origin, people know about Battle.net, people can learn about, what's the Bethesda one? I don't know about it. So
Bethesda launcher.
Really, that's it?
It's a shitty fucking name.
No wonder I didn't fucking commit it to memory. It's the Blizzard
Why didn't they call it
launcher.
Bethesda Land?
Oh my, no, never again. That's not happening again. That was a waste.
It's actually a worse name. It's Bethesda.net launcher.
Wow, so they just ripped Battle.net.
So
they didn't
No,
do
the
shit.
website is Bethesda.net.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be Battle.net, am I right? I forget. Whatever. The point is that I think they were waiting to gauge how much people were willing to drop money on this. Or drop, time and knowledge and information on it. And I mean, it worked, didn't it? I mean, it clearly worked out for them. So, now we're in this, and the same thing with streaming services, right? Netflix was the dominator, right? Like, you hear about Netflix and Chill and all this stuff, but now you got, like, Hulu, you got Amazon
Hulu
Video.
Sucks.
I mean, whatever.
Amazon's not as bad.
They suck, but I mean, the point is
Netflix
that people use
sucks.
them. People use them, though, is the point.
Yeah, people use them, but Netflix sucks.
I mean, we could.
If you can't watch B movies on it, it's worth it.
I mean, Netflix has literally pulled a Sony, which we'll get into after this.
Fuck you, Sony.
But yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. Now that they have the foot in the door, we can have all these niche services like the like Bethesda. Maybe Uplay will get there someday. I don't know though. Maybe we'll see.
Uplay, I think, has the potential because of the club rewards.
But I don't know if they'll do
Something
it.
special.
Heck, even Discord is starting.
Yeah, holy shit! Thank you for pointing that. Discord recently had an update where you can now click your little friend icon. scroll up and go into this store, and it's like your library. You can import games, store, and all this other crazy stuff. I'm not interested, but yeah, I like it. I like it. It keeps people on their toes, just to not have to kick their feet up and just be like, well, I mean, someone will take care of it, you know? I don't have to do any work. Fuck it. So speaking of Sony, right?
Fuck Sony.
Sony, you know, Sony has kind of been the de facto console generation winner for the last...
Just this generation.
Pretty much, yeah. The last, like, 5 years, pretty much. And what ended up happening is that they finally are lifting the requirements for crossplay on Fortnite after about 3 months of people like, what the fuck, Sony? Why are you not doing it? Why, Sony, come on. Why everyone else is doing it? Even Nintendo did it. And Nintendo, you know, used to be the people that never would do anything. Why wouldn't you do it? So they're finally getting ready to do that. The spoiler alert to this topic is pretty much Sony won the console war. They don't need to bend with anything to try to get ahead. They have a pretty decisive lead. They got a fuck ton of money. Microsoft had such a horrible showing at the start.
I mean, but you would think Sony would learn from Microsoft. The reason why they
are arrogant.
The reason why Sony has been winning this console war is because the retarded shit that Xbox tried to pull. Not only freaking how many years earlier, were always online DRM freaking bullshit. Like, people don't take kindly when shit is not in their favor. So, literally being the only person to not allow crossplay might not set you up for the next console generation. If people are seeing that you're being bros and you're freaking looking towards the customer or you're facing, like, it's so bizarre. Like, the rest of the America and the rest of the industries favor the customer. The customer's always right. Prioritize the customer. But it's just like suddenly, like, video games are just like suddenly catching up to us, and they're like, oh shit, dude, we can make money if we actually listen to our consumer base. Like, when they started listening to them, shit started clicking and shit started working.
Sony is complacent. The moment they realized they won, they stopped. All their work that they did to get number one, they're done. We're number one now. We're done. It's honestly the same mistake that Xbox did.
Yeah, Xbox came out of nowhere and won.
Xbox 360 won, right? Hands down, the 360 beat the PS3. So they came into this generation thinking like, we got all these loyal guys, and then they were like, oh shit, we don't got no loyalty. There's no loyalty to these bitches. These streets is wild.
No, dude, I get that, but basically, they were like, fuck what that nigga just said. Like, we're gonna freaking do like Xbox against what Xbox just said. We're going to not do any of that bullshit. We'll listen to you guys, and we want your feedback and stuff. And that's how they won the console war.
I mean, it's campaigning.
Like, people are talking about exclusivity. Well, here's a bunch of exclusives. People are talking about non-online.
Yeah, and then they don't realize.
But that's what I'm saying.
Continue their work.
It's campaigning. I mean, they say what people want to hear. And as I said many years ago, Sony won by just sitting back and letting Microsoft fuck up and do the opposite. I mean, yeah, no, that's the smart thing. But I mean, they won. They don't need to put any more effort or business.
So be the first one to allow crossplay. Be like, oh yeah, you guys want crossplay?
And in a sensible world, you would be completely correct, and you'd be the CEO.
And the best part is,
you're not.
Is that you know you can allow crossplay because them bitches are so far behind that you can give them crossplay. You could be like, Xbox, you could take that one. We are so far ahead of you. We'll give you that, but it will help us in the long run because we're gonna be the good guys. We're gonna be the first. Like, we're winning the console generation. We're still giving our competition crossplay, so that way you can be even better in the freaking limelight. But now that you're the last one dragging your feet, people are like, I don't know. Sony's kind of like, and with the $10 increase on freaking PS Plus, like, dude, and then service disruption. I mean, yeah, these things add up. Like, this is exactly what happened to your competitor. You would think, like, and again, going back to the whole point, it's like the rest of America is like put consumer first. It's like the video game industry is just like, oh shit, dude, people don't like when we don't listen to them. Like, I just don't know why gaming is so far behind in its ideology.
Because gaming is like this weird, like, still developing industry. Like, they already figured out the fucking movie industry pretty much to a science. They They mathematically calculate this shit. They've been doing that shit for ages, literally centuries at this point. Like, they already figured out books, they already figured out TV. It's video games where you can kind of like say, go fuck yourself, and people still kind of come back. And they still kind of just they roll with it. I don't know if I personally attribute it to the medium, that like if a book or a movie or a TV show is bad, you can only ever enjoy it one way once, and then that's it. I mean, everything after that is sort of a repeat of what you already had before. Like, you might notice maybe a couple things, but that's it. Like a video game, like I could play a bad video game 100 times, and each one of those 100 times will be at least on some level slightly more different than maybe the 5th, 6th, and so on rewatch of a TV show. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that's what I would advise for people, but I mean, in video games, people just kind of put up with it, I guess. You know, like other mediums, since I guess there isn't much of a choice, you kind of have to, like, bitch and complain, and then they listen to you, kind of.
Yeah.
But because video games are such a choice, I guess, you know, people didn't like Microsoft, they like Sony now. And I mean, that's how it was in the sixth generation, and it flip-flopped because they wanted to say all this shit like, oh, you need to... They basically pulled a Sega, kinda. They just had a bigger install base. It's like, oh, you should just get a second job to play your fucking PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, who the fuck is gonna play a PlayStation 3 worth $700 when they're working 2 jobs? Like, it just doesn't even make legitimate sense. It's just one of those things that they said. I don't know how vetted they made that statement. It's just one of those things that kind of slipped out. You know, it's in...
Again, dude, this goes back to, I don't know if you remember what I was talking about before, and the freaking, all current, just look at monetary costs. Like, how much can we make money in the freaking interim period? They don't look at the freaking long run. They don't look at the end game here, and that's why business has kind of...
That's why they lay off an entire studio. This is what I'm expecting EA to have in about 2 years. I expect EA to have this complete crisis when they realize that DICE cannot do everything. You
saw that shit with the freaking most downvoted Star Wars.
Everything they do is controversy at this point. It's been that way since 2010. Everything EA does is met with some degree of controversy, or this or that, or online pass this, or fuck the fans that, and no refunds
you make these monetary
and
gains
censorship there
in the like short run, but you're not making any long-term gains in the long run. We looked at EA's freaking revenue over the course of all those years a while back. I think it was when FIFA came out or whatever, and we saw it was constantly dropping since 2013.
And basically, they're just having FIFA and Madden carry them. That was the other sports game I forgot, by the way.
Guys
FIFA
freaking abandon you because you're not.
They liquidate Visceral.
You're not accommodating anybody.
They kill off every studio that does something different. They basically put their eggs in 3 different baskets. They put it in the Battlefield basket, they put it in the FIFA basket, and they put it in the Madden basket. And there might be like 1 or 2 other things I'm missing, but if you look at how much shit EA has basically scorched earthed and killed over the last few years, like, that's why their E3s are so paltry. Because what do they even have to talk about? They have FIFA. They'll talk about sports games. I get it. It's a big part of their income. I mean, at this point, it fucking sure as hell is. But like, they'll talk about sports games. They'll talk about the new Battlefield expansion, or maybe the new game period, and then a couple indie games. And that's it. And then I guess they're happy with that. I guess they think that that's fucking the best conference at E3. Is a couple indie games, which might look cool, but they're indie games. They'll be around for about a month. Like, Unravel 2 is cool, but now it's gone, so no one talks about it. It's a fucking weekend game. And I mean, I expect EA to have at least some difficulty with this when they realize that they can't do this forever. Like, you know, the Battlefront shit probably made one of the biggest internet shit shows I've ever seen from a video game company. Like, I could not think of a bigger video game shit show off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure the last one was like, I don't know, either Scalebound getting canceled or some other shit like that. This was, the Reddit was in full, no, the last one I remember was the fucking Mass Effect endings, which is also EA. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck they do. But companies do what companies think people want, I guess. I make the
The
reference
thing is,
that
in this
there's-
day and age, the fans actively tell them what they want.
Well, I guess telling them isn't enough. I
We're
guess
not in an
they
age
have
of-
these calculations
And
instead of
Capcom
asking
has seen
people.
this firsthand. When they don't listen to their fan base, they get in money troubles.
They
When
should have a
start
fucking
listening to their
poll.
fan base-
They should have a fucking poll that they put up where it's like, what do you guys want to see? And I'm not saying this should be the end all be all, but it should definitely be a factor when they like have a poll and it's like, oh, what do you guys want to see?
They're called focus groups.
Well, clearly their
groups are
focus
bad.
groups are lying to them right now.
All
No,
focus
But I
groups are
never
bad.
get into the focus groups.
No, I get into those focus groups, and those focus groups are bad. But the thing is, though, that's not literally your only.
Like you
avenue
could
of
have a
gathering.
Twitter fucking
you could
post.
have a focus group.
You could have a
but
fucking
they
Twitter.
don't
In
put weight
tandem.
into that.
Well, I think that's
and
part of the
that's
problem.
what they need to start
I
doing.
know.
I'm not
I
saying
get
it
it.
has to be a Twitter thing. You know, I'm not disagreeing with you, but they don't put weight into that at their own peril. I mean, that's what fucking Capcom went through for years. is that
Exactly.
they made a
People
bunch
are
of
like,
games
"Make
and nobody
this shit."
fucking cared. People
They're
wanted
like,
the Resident Evil
"No."
2 remake years ago. People wanted Resident Evil 2 remake literally, and I'm not shitting on them for making it now, but people wanted this shit for the better part of a fucking decade. And every time they were prompted, they said, no, we don't want to do that. Here's Operation Raccoon City. And that didn't go over
And then
well.
it didn't buy.
And it fucking
Oh, I wonder
flopped.
why.
It fucking flopped. All those resources and assets could have probably been flipped into a fucking remake of the
It's
game
like
people
a
actually
child,
wanted.
dude. Make this shit. Do this shit. No.
But this is what
Then-
they want. No, well
they
then
do
I guess you
something else,
suffer.
and then- exactly.
It's like, okay.
I
It's
can't
like
help you any more than I have.
make a Devil May Cry game where Dante's in it. No. Here's this shit. Alright, goodbye. And then they almost go bankrupt because of it. It's like, cool. I guess this is just the end for you, isn't it? It's sad, but it's really a comedy. But Sony is on just like another level of bullshit. They know they won this console generation pretty handily because Microsoft fucked up so many years ago. The only other thing to point out, and I'm sorry that Mr. Surgster 2 could not join us, but I will pose this for him. Again, Senran, seems to always be at the center of some really weird censorship bullshit, but that is what it is. Sony has a history of canceling, screwing with, or fucking around with a lot of weeaboo games. And
No, we're not limited to games anymore. We've
What
gone
is it?
past the games when you're dealing with weeaboo shit.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about
Sony purchased Funimation, and therefore
Oh, goodbye, I'm
Funimation
done.
is no longer part of that Verve network, meaning that the cooperation that's been going on with Crunchyroll and Funimation is over.
Well, time to clock out. That's okay. Crunchyroll was never that great anyway, but yep, time to clock out.
But it's one of the few ways of getting your service legally.
No, you're right.
On the West.
You're right. No, you're complete. I didn't disagree with that. I just said it was never that great. It's a necessary evil, but it's an evil all the same. But yeah, they censor certain aspects of Senran Kagura. I mean, again, if there's a mo where you piss on people, whatever, I don't care. But the thing is, and this is the same thing we said about some other game a while back, I can't remember.
Wait,
is
you
that
have a mode where they piss on people?
I don't fucking know what it is.
I just need to clarify for you. This was clarified for me by someone in another Discord I'm in. It's not urine. It's simply yellow water.
Yeah, I know, yellow water.
Yeah, dude.
It's R. Kelly mode, as I like to.
I wish R. Kelly had said it was lemonade.
Oh,
It was
no.
lemonade. I sweetened
I
it
was-
with ammonia.
I was pouring it on her, dude. She was thirsty. But it's
Christ,
yellow,
fuck.
whatever dumb shit they want to put in these weeaboo games. I never even liked Senran. I couldn't even finish that playthrough. But like, the thing is that the game already got rated by the ESRB, right? And I mean, I get that. I'm not saying that game publishers need to be beholden to the ESRB and like as an absolute rule of thumb. But the game got reviewed by the ESRB. They gave it a pass of an M rating, as you would expect, and that really kind of should be it. I mean, there's not anything really ridiculous. It's clear that these games come to America and sell. They cancel Omega Labyrinth 1 month before launch when it's too late to recoup costs. And they have a habit of doing this. They will tell people, hey, make your weeaboo game. We give you the go-ahead. We give you the Don's blessing. And then a month before launch, they'll turn around and say, by the way, we're just not going to release it. And there's not anything that people can do about it. I mean, you work on a project for 10 months, 11 months to localize a game, and then they tell you, they literally like a week before you turn in the work for it to be finalized and you know, the discs are already printed, they say, yeah, just, we're not releasing it.
Yeah, it's dummy, dude. Sony is literally like, we call them the console war, so we can do whatever
we can do whatever the fuck we want. We got big off of the backs of weeaboos. Now, thanks.
This is the freaking Xbox mentality. Oh yeah, they'll never leave us. And then what happens when now
if Xbox grabs it back? I
didn't mean to.
Rinse repeat. Yeah,
exactly.
All it takes is for Xbox to just succumb to the fucking weeaboo draw. I mean,
or if it's Nintendo or
if
somebody.
if they can get weeaboo shit, Xbox can.
Dude, it's until somebody wakes up and says, "Hey,
wait a minute, we can make
listen
money."
To the cover.
These games are not like AO; they're M-rated. So we have a lot of other M-rated bullshit. Like I said, you could rip people's heads off in fucking God of War. They love that shit. That shit was on every fucking commercial earlier this year. It's God of War, dude. Oh, explore Norse mythology. Look, it's Kratos, man. He's fucking violent as all hell. But if you piss on a girl, dude, let me tell you, they're gonna fucking kill you, dude. They're gonna.
I don't know.
They're gonna do worse than kill you. They're gonna wait until they're gonna say yes. They might even agree with it at the time. They're going to wait 10 months down the road when you're done working on it and you've put in weeks and months of blood and sweat and tears. And then they're going to turn around and tell your ass to go fuck yourself. And then that's it.
It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre, dude. Like,
it's
otherworldly. I've never seen nonsense like this before, ever. Like, customers actively telling you what they will fucking give you money for,
and you just say, like, fuck it, I think this is better. It's like, and don't even give me that artistic interpretation bullshit, because they don't give a fuck about artistic interpretations half the time in games anymore. They don't give a rat's ass. What they care about is they care about one thing only: profits. They care that the game fucking moves shit. There might be a couple people like Kojima who get a pass, or at Nintendo, they give them a pass because that's the Nintendo thing. But for the most part, most of these games are so obvious plug-in chuggers that they really don't give a shit, like, what the degree of it all is. That's generally what it's like. And, I mean, Nekopara is also going to come out. It already came out on Switch months ago. So who knows when that localization is coming back on. And the Senran thing is pretty sad, because when they were asked at, I believe, some anime convention, you know, because Sony canceled Omega Labyrinth, they were asked, hey, is this game getting censored or some shit? They responded with, no, it's not. We'll be fine. You know, we're not. We don't know of anything at the time. And then fast forward, and they censored it. So they just censor fucking games. It's the same thing I said about Twitch. You know, it's the foot in the door argument. It's the first we do it to the weeaboo niche games, you know, and then it's the next thing. It's whatever. It's the creeping mentality. That, oh, well, it's just weeaboo games. You don't want to fucking see weeaboo games as people fucking jerk off to Fire Emblem fucking drawings. We don't care about these weeaboo shits, right? No, it's just weeaboo stuff. And then next, you know, it could be something else you like. It's, you know, first they came for the weeaboos, and then you didn't say anything because they were weeaboos. Then they came for so on and so forth. And then when it's your turn, there's nobody going to defend your ass. You didn't defend them when they needed help. But the craziest part, and I have the archive for this, is that Ask PlayStation UK was actually prompted by someone why none of the other Senran Kagura games were censored. And when I saw this, my head fucking spun. Because this is an official Sony Twitter, right? They clearly do not PR train these idiots.
No.
I want to go on record and say they do not PR train these idiots. They could have ignored this tweet. They could have brushed it the fuck under the rug. They could have said, listen, it's confusing. We hope you'll enjoy the games as they are. They could have given them the have a good day mentality. What did they give them? So, to quote, Haseo7 says, then why were none of the other Senran Kagura games censored? They all had their intimacy modes in the game. That makes no sense. PlayStation UK Ask PlayStation UK, I should clarify, responds, if every game released was the same, why buy the next? There may have been a change to said mode, but it doesn't meet our standards anymore. Please refer to the publisher of the game for more information. DB, which is the tag. I don't think all three of those sentences, I have a problem with on some level. I don't think a single sentence in that
they
fucking
really
thing
need to
checks
start
out.
saying, dude, listen, guys, if you got an inkling in your head telling you like to respond to these people,
You need to fucking ask your manager because you're clearly not smart enough
you
to
need
see
to
that.
just not. You just need
Let
to
me-
not reply.
Literally,
Just
if
sit
I wanna
there
take this
and
tweet
let them
apart.
talk.
and you're running their social media. You have to stop, and before you touch your keyboard, this is, by the way, this is like the first lesson you learn in any form of customer service. It's not what would I say, it's what would the company say.
want me to say.
And
I don't even
the
work
best
in this
part is-
shit. I don't
That's
even
where I was watching a movie called Sorry to Bother You.
Oh,
And
yeah.
basically,
Oh, I
yeah,
gotta
it's
see
like,
that, yeah.
stick to the script. Stick to
Do
the
not
script.
ad-lib
Do
it.
not
Do not
deviate.
freestyle.
Don't ad-lib. Don't add your little flair, dude. No. Stick to the script.
Let's break this down really quickly, and then after this we only have one other thing and we're done. Let me ad-lib this if I could put it on the podcast video because I'm way ahead of the times.
Same thing with that other idiot who was like, oh yeah, just have all men. I created a venue for the men. It's inside the turbine of a jumbo jet.
Oh, you mean the league dude? Yeah, they fired him, by the way. They got rid of him.
So you wanna
Yeah.
make fun of our customers that pay us money? I
Huh.
see you don't like your job.
I guess you don't like it. No, you actually said that, actually. So credit to you. You said they're fucking with league money. And to quote Riot no like it when they fuck with league money, pretty much. And they got rid of him. They fired him. He's gone. But I put it on the video, which will be... I'm probably going to upload this raw as it is. First sentence, right? I'm going to break this... It's only 3 sentences. I'm going to break it down sentence by fucking sentence. If every game released was the same, why buy the next? If you could only imagine how many franchises we could apply this to, I'm pretty sure nobody would be in business anymore in the game industry. I'm pretty sure that, like, when Sony says, oh, please buy our God of War, and they're jerking themselves off because they got the God of War shit. Please buy Bloodborne. Please buy pretty much any game they release besides The Order, believe it or not. Please buy our Call of Duty. Best place to play. Greatness awaits, man. You could make that same argument for every single other COD.
Yeah,
People
I
make
don't
that
know.
argument for COD on a yearly basis.
Literally, one of the most successful games of franchise
That
of
you
all time
jerk
subscribes off that ideology.
You want people to buy this shit. And we could make the same fucking argument for fucking Call of Duty. We could literally say the exact same motherfucking thing. We could say, oh, well, every COD's the same. Every Call of Duty is the exact same. Every Battlefield's the same game. But you love it when we buy Battlefield, don't you, you greedy motherfucker? Don't you? You love it, because that pays your fucking check. You love it. You hope people go out and give you $1 billion from this shit. And I'm not saying he's speaking on behalf of all of PlayStation, because I don't believe anyone this stupid would actually work there and do that. But
gaming advertisements, they're like the same experiences you know and love. Like,
you know what you're going to get when you buy a COD game. What is the only new thing? Fucking Blackout mode? A mode that already has been around for a year and actually longer. Because The Division had a fucking Battle Royale mode. They just didn't capitalize on it. Even before The Division, fucking H1Z1 and DayZ had technically some Battle Royale modes. Like, hello? Like, this is not anything new. But I mean, yes, the first big Battle Royale game was PUBG. That was the big blockbuster standalone title made solely for it. Fine. But you love it when we buy that fucking shit, don't you? You love it when we lap up the Sony dick. But they got a real problem. So that first sentence is garbage. I'm sorry. Whoever wrote this, DB, ask PlayStation UK, that is fucking garbage. Get that the fuck out of here. That makes no fucking sense. Because if you apply that logic to the next game down the roster, get the fuck out of here. GTA? Oh, you guys love that shark card money. Let's not even pretend. You're going to love those Red Dead War bonds or whatever the fuck if they do that. If well, what? Listen, I haven't looked it up. I'm just saying
it is part of their model. There's no
they confirmed
way. I think they said every game moving forward will do this.
I don't know at the time of me talking right now, so I'm just gonna leave it as an if. But in a week we'll know.
Fucking war bonds or some nonsense.
Oh, you love it when I bought Odyssey and I paid $100. You fucking lapped that shit up, didn't you, Sony? Anyway, that first sentence pisses me off on a very core level, but the second sentence is kind of the meat of it. It doesn't meet our standards anymore, right? basically what they're saying is, we made enough money from you people. You guys helped us get this empire this far. Now you're the dirty fucking peasants we don't want anymore. Goodbye. And just like they have leprosy and just kick them out. And just like, you don't belong here anymore. And then the last sentence, I hate to hasten this along. The last sentence is probably the best sentence in the whole thing. Please refer to the publisher of the game for more information. Senran and Xseed, I think, publishes it, if I'm not mistaken. Senran already came out and said that it's Sony doing this. So yes, they are referring to you.
Specifically said we have no.
You think Senran wanted to censor it?
If you have questions, ask Sony, and then Sony said, if you have questions,
ask them. So it's circular. It's like, hey, idiots, listen, just keep giving us money, stop questioning how it works.
Two dudes playing hot potato, but one is the victim, and he's saying, well, ask that guy, and the victim's like, my man, you just stabbed me. You're asking them to ask me why you stabbed me. Tell them why you stabbed me.
I don't know. Yeah, it's circular fucking logic.
I can't
you must know.
why.
I don't know.
And to be fair, I get that this is a dumb fucking intimacy mode in a fucking Weeaboo game. I don't really give a shit about that. I give a shit about the fucking standard. Like, what? There is no fucking standard here. It's, well, we made a lot of money selling all this bullshit I said earlier. I'm not going to repeat here. And that's it. We don't need you guys to fucking prop this shit up anymore. Why do you think Senran wants to fucking censor this bullshit? This is what makes them money. They make money because they have naked anime titty chick. Well, not fully naked. There are no nipples. I could tell you a lot of games that show fucking nipples, though, that Sony would love you to play. Sony would love you to bang the shit out of Aphrodite in God of War 3 Remastered. Let me tell you that shit. They have no problem showing veiny cock in GTA. But the second you show an anime chick, you know what? It is what it is. But I give credit to this man, because this response by PlayStation UK is fucking garbage. I would dismiss this immediately mentally, as I did, because it gives me no information.
I don't even think they're gonna fire this dude, honestly.
No, they won't. He'll be there. I'm not saying that they're gonna fire him. He needs to go, but this is garbage.
Sony is stupid.
This is garbage. No, it's not gonna get to be a big enough of an issue.
I would ask that dude. I'd be like, dude. That dude would be gone so fast. I would be like, I don't know what he was smoking. I'm sorry. We apologize.
Yeah, it's just a confusing situation. You know, it we'll try to work through. You know, the typical bullshit response, but at least something better than, ask Xseed why their game is censored. Xseed is just gonna say, well, Sony did it, and then what? You're gonna ask? Oh, well, don't ask us. We don't want. Just ask Xseed. They don't want to be questioned on this fucking bullshit. I'm gonna put up the part 2. Someone asked later, are there any other... Can we expect any more games to be censored or blocked, like Omega Labyrinth? And I already canceled my Senran Kagura renewal pre-order. I also don't appreciate the unprofessional, snarky tone in this response. I care about and buy these games that are being written off so easily here. That's from Cat Coach Art. Someone else responded to this. It's a different response tag. Unfortunately, we don't have any early information on the release of future games. You'll need to keep an eye on the blog or contact publishers for more information. I mean, is it a better answer? Kinda. Is it a great answer? No. Basically, what they're saying is that it's fucking our money. Thanks for paying us money, and we don't really give a shit. And that's basically it. I mean, there's not really much else to say. Sony just wants you to pay them money and not ask anything. And then when you ask them, why the fuck did you censor this game that you didn't censor before, they tell you, oh, well, if it's exactly the same, then why buy it? Because if that shit flipped on their head, Sony would go bankrupt overnight. And that would be the end of all of this.
Sony Gaming would be closed.
Yeah, I know.
Sony would.
Yeah, Sony Gaming.
A little bigger than just that.
Yeah. But, Sony, PlayStation would be fucking finished. They would, but again, none of that's ever going to happen. I'm not saying it should, but that's why this response is just complete garbage. It really means nothing because it doesn't stand for anything. It's just a bunch of confusing bullshit for no reason. But yeah, I wish Mr. Surgster could be here because he was livid when this shit happened, and I don't disagree with him. He was livid. And it is within Sony's
livid,
rights.
Not because of what Sony did. I think he's more livid at the fact that your removed Senator on Congress thing. I think I'm more livid at the fact that this could happen. Well, not like livid, but I think I'm more like cautious in terms of this happening to other games. Sergio is just mad that he got his freaking
whatever. I mean,
he made a big. Okay, so he knows about other instances where this happened, but he's never made a shit fit this big. And the only thing that I found confusing about it, well, there's two things I found confusing about it. One, because I remember the first time we had this discussion was with Fire Emblem Fates.
Yeah, and remember how much Nintendo got fucked by that shit? Remember when people... I had to self-censor myself.
But that's like a large amount of people, and to be fair, Fate still sold well.
I know, but I remember...
nothing really happened. People say his logic in response to me bringing that up was that Nintendo backpedaled on the censorship stuff, which, to be fair, personally, I think that's more based on them having the temporary president Kimishima. I think the old dude was a lecherous guy who was like, fuck it, throw the titties in there.
Yeah,
and now that he's gone, let's see what they do. Because he was just a temporary seat holder. But my thing is he was saying like, oh, we did, like, he had this idea that day that him and his voice of internet people could make a change.
I mean, it was possible with Twitch. I mean, the thing
Twitch
is
not a game company. It's the problem.
This is not a game company.
It's a much larger scale.
More to the point, and I want to make this really quickly, is that when Nintendo had the gall or whatever confusing bullshit to censor the shit out of fucking Fates, that shit was like World War III. It was like miniature World War III within the Fire Emblem community. People were like swearing this shit up. People still, I know a couple people, some of my friends, still to this day will not fucking play a Fire Emblem game. Either because of the waifu shit or because they dared to censor a game that at this point is like 3 years old. It's an old fucking game. Or 2 years old, I think. 2.5 years. That was a lifetime ago. And that was like one mode was slightly tweaked. But yeah, it was kind of the same thing. And I remember people crucified Nintendo and Intelligent Systems they crucified Treehouse, I'm sorry. They crucified Nintendo of America and Treehouse upside down with rusty nails on a fucking cross because they dared to fucking censor their fucking waifu emblem. So it's the same sort of deal. And they never did that again. They removed that shit. They just roll with it now. They have big booty bitches in Pokemon. They got big titty bitches in Fire Emblem. They don't care anymore because I guess they've more or less realized whatever. It gets a T rating. It gets the rating we want. It makes us money, and we don't really care.
Just look at the state that social media and our society is in. We kind of freaking idolize this stuff anyway with Instagram models, people on Facebook with the freaking duck faces and stuff and posing for whatever. Like, people are not, this is not like 1990 something. Like, people are not like cover up anymore.
You go outside, there's Victoria's Secret ads on bus stations. Like, it's like scantily clad women in like Subway ads. Like, it's everywhere. And I was actually kind of surprised. I guess I must be old, right? Because I remember this would never happen when I was a kid. But like, you can't even take your kid to school on the New York subway anymore without there being like an ad for some fucking, lingerie or condoms or something. It's everywhere. Like, you cannot really escape it no matter where you go. And I'm not talking about walking by Victoria's Secret, like walking by the store. I'm talking like legit. I walk into a random train station. I'm just standing around, listening to some music. I turn my head to the right. Oh, there's a fucking ad for some big titty chick, and we make pea-sized bra cups or whatever, and you turn your head to the left. It's make sure when you fuck on Tinder, you fuck hard and you fuck safe or something. It's like, it's not graffiti. These are actual posters. And I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but it's the sort. I mean, that's society. I mean, it's bigger than video games.
That's what I'm saying. It's just strange that people on
society is more sex positive now. Yeah,
exactly.
Whatever you want to make of that, that's another topic for another time.
Again,
whatever you want to make of that.
Catering and listening to your audience and paying attention to the time you're.
Just let these people go. These games are rated. They're rated. They're niche. You're honestly opening the gates for there to be a bigger shitstorm than the game actually would have made if it had just launched. Like, this is not 1995 with Night Trap. Like, this is not something where nobody was really informed, so a bunch of people wrote incorrect shit about the game, and it launched this whole big crusade against it. where you're actually saving the women instead of killing them. No, people know what a game is about, like, day one. They know what it's like before it even comes out, months in advance, because of the internet now. It's all different.
I mean, there's inciting controversy, and then they're just completely ruining the reputation of your game.
And they're, just completely starting something that doesn't even need to begin, period. None of this shit needed to happen. This whole Twitter chain, and I'm going to finish it up here, if this is it. None of this Twitter chain needed to fucking happen, period. I'm not going to make another clip. I'm just so Cat Couch Art goes on to continue and says, I'm just concerned that these new don't meet our standards policies are not being relayed to the developers and localization teams in a timely manner since this SK Burst renewal was delayed for the censorship. If you guys want to follow, I will drop the exact screenshots I already put in the video and the Content Central. I don't want to be canceling orders due to last minute censorship, so ask PlayStation, because I guess they pulled this dude off the fucking Twitter machine, because he was clearly not making any friends with what he was saying, because now MM responds from here on out. I understand, however, all we can advise is the information we have. If games are changed or any orders canceled, we will try to make the transition as smooth as possible for the players. Cat Couch Art says again, is there any chance that we will learn what these new standards are? If I have a better idea about what games are going to be edited or blocked and which ones are likely safe, I can pre-order with more confidence. And then he basically responds, just contact your game publishers, as they will always have the information before anyone else. I mean, it's not like pissing in someone's face like the other dude, which people comment on later, where Master J. Shea, and I guess I'll just put the fucking link in the description of the video. I don't have enough wherewithal to screenshot it again. They say, I'm sorry, can you run that by me again? Are you trying to shift blame for censorship on the publisher who didn't want the game to be censored? Also, could you count censorship as a selling point? You really, I mean, people want to say they'll never buy a PlayStation console again. I mean, I'll believe, people do what they do it, but it's a bold strategy, as the next guy says, Dr. Shy Guy, to say if every game released was the same, why buy the next? I mean, it goes further and further. But, yeah, I mean, that's Sony. They like doing this now, I guess. They made enough money, they have enough big balls to say that, they could do whatever the fuck they want, and it's your fault. It's your fault, Senron, for putting covered up nipple anime titties in a game and pouring lemonade on them. But don't get me wrong, dude. These dudes at fucking Sony, they're big brain motherfuckers. They have a year's subscription to fucking black.com, dude. They love it. They love the BBC, dude. Trust me. They fucking enjoy that shit. They have a great time. They are not degenerates at Sony. Nope. Only the strictest cuckold pornography for them. But anyway, that's I love it. I love the standards here. I love this this dude. I don't know if he ever responded yet. You need to get him the fuck out of there, Sony, is what you really need to do. But yeah, that's the
they
Sony
really
arc.
need to just shut down on the Twitter stuff.
You need people who are controllable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was not controllable.
Who are PR freaking
nightmares.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy was asked a genuine question. Actually, I'm not even going to remove this image. I'm going to post the first image again, one last time on the video. Then why were none of the other Senron games censored? They all had their intimacy modes in the game. That makes no sense. This dude took, personal offense! He fucking fired the fuck back! He was like, oh, just don't buy the game if it's the fucking same.
Yeah, honestly,
you fucking idiot. Yo, if Sony has a downfall arc, this won't be the first chapter, but this will definitely be that
really
prologue that gets
PR
written out.
people to vet stuff before they can send it.
Dude,
this has
took
to be
it
run
personally.
by a PR dude before you can say anything.
Yo, Sony, I will take an internship offer. I will vet your fucking tweets. You could hire me. I will take minimum wage in the state of New York. I will do this easily. This will be easy fucking money. You know why? Because at the end of the day, all you have to do is just say, contact the publishers, and we will do the best that we can.
Saying less is more.
Yeah, honestly, you don't know. You're the fucking scrub who works fucking PR. You don't know shit. So just say you don't know shit and move on. If you're that confused, ask your manager. I don't
No
fucking
further
know.
information at this time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no further information. I don't know. But you know they're going to love when Cyberpunk comes out and there's big fucking titties in that game. And that game sells out $1 billion fucking dollars on PS4. Greatness awaits, my dude. Dive in the fucking augmented pussy. They're going to love that shit. When you buy it on PlayStation, that is going to be like a lifetime subscription to Black for every Sony
They
employee.
even had the main character have sex in the reveal trailer.
Yeah, and the reveal trailer, they got a nipple dead fucking center, dude. They are going to be throbbing when you buy that shit on PlayStation. I'm going to buy it on PC just to fucking dip these fucks. I'm going to be out. Fuck that. It's whatever. Anyway, the last topic, and then we're done. Yes, I know, we're done. Is our good friends at 2K. And I see Andy laughing. That's always a good thing.
These guys, they're great.
They're great. They're amazing. They actually are better than EA. I'll give them that. They are better because it's not hard to be better than EA.
I would hire a fucking bar.
Are you talking about the
auction house? Yeah. So
I
it's not even just that.
I thought you were talking about where they're like, yeah, contact your local government so we can re-implement loot boxes.
Oh wait, you didn't know about that?
No, I don't. You're gonna kill me right
dude, this
now.
This was months ago when the EU classified loot boxes as gambling.
Yo, EA fucked a lot of people with that.
2K literally said to European customers, like, hey, you should tell your government that you don't think it's gambling. We're your friends.
You know what's so fucking funny, though? I remember a goddamn time when people were asking for refunds on Sim fucking City, and they were banning their EU customers for this. Yeah, they're your friends. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
they're really your friends. I love them.
What they're saying is contact your local legislature to basically petition to say that this law that is passed is not fair and should be.
Oh yeah, basically Brexit, pretty much. Do a Brexit, literally leave it so you could have fucking live it. They must love it.
Reddit forums were like, "Are you serious?
Are you serious? You have more political sway. What the fuck?
Your scummy freaking practices, like in where everything was microtransactions.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yeah, this is EA, right? I remember when EA was banning people for asking for refunds for SimCity because they saw that game and they were like, this fucking sucks and this is not what I pre-ordered. I remember when they had the balls to do that. That was in the EU. I remember that distinctly because we covered it on this fucking podcast. I remember that.
Basically, everybody on the 2K Reddit was like, yeah, no, we don't like the freaking microtransactions in the newest 2K game, so yeah, we're not going to call our local.
Yeah, I remember when EA did that shit. That was some otherworldly shit. But, no, this is a more recent one. So, 2K issued a permanent ban to Reddit user XXFreeWittyXX of the user getting banned for auction house sniping when asking customer support, because he spent $100 on this game. I don't know if he bought, like, a special edition or whatever. He bought, he spent money on this game, a pretty hefty, amount. And when he asked customer support, they were led in circular arguments stating that the ban could have been included, but wasn't limited to auction house sniping. So eventually he was told by support employees that he eventually got through to someone who wanted to answer his question, that their definition of auction house sniping was an action that, quote, can include, but is not limited to, end quote, purchasing or selling cards for more or less than the average amount is worth, unquote, unquote. Witty was never informed such a thing could result in a permaban. He was simply banned for using the auction house as intended, selling items at better prices than the competition. Later on, multiple other players were banned permanently. 2K explained that the auction house sniping is, quote, when you wait a few seconds before the auction house timer refreshes, then buy high-value cards for a low price, end quote. Later, someone on the 2K Reddit, a user by the name of YYY2K, who I assume is pretty big on the community, stated that auction house sniping isn't a bannable offense and that the ban may have been done because the user purchased something either knowingly or unknowingly from a MT seller, which I believe is a My Team seller. He locked the thread, but then later unlocked it because people were upset that he locked the thread, and he doesn't work for 2K. So, here's what we have. There's an auction house. They have two different definitions of what an auction house sniping is, and that it can result in a ban. However, it seems more likely he was banned for buying something possibly unknowingly from someone who hacked the game or did something illegitimate. So I'm not really sure what the good part of this scenario is. The fact that 2 different employees give 2 different definitions of a ban-worthy offense. The fact that he might have been banned because he accidentally bought something from someone he doesn't know is legit or not. Or just, in general, the fact that this is even a fucking problem in the first place.
I think that this is just that, like, they don't even know why.
They don't even know what they've unleashed.
They don't even know why they banned him. They're just like, oh, maybe it could have been this.
Yeah, it could have been this. Maybe he, like, because if you've ever played a game with an auction house, and I'm specifically thinking a game like Warcraft, Guild Wars, even Final Fantasy 14. If you've ever played a video game that has some sort of market,
Interesting that you only named MMOs, but continue.
I know, but that's usually where you see
that's what I'm saying. It's a monetization model in those games.
If you put this in any other game, it's an immediate clusterfuck because it only really works in the MMO system, right? But it can work other places. But like, let's say hypothetically you put up something on an auction house. I put up this Sword of Better Slaying for 100 gold, right? And someone else either crafts it or finds it, and they put it up for 99, right? That's how market demand is generated. If the sword is in high demand, you can put a lot of fucking money in it as long as the supply is low. That's literally economics 101. Is you buy low, you sell high, and supply and demand are kind of inverse. And so when the supply is high, the demand is usually low because you could get it a lot, and usually you could get it for pretty cheap. In the reverse, if the supply is low, usually the demand will be very, very high if it's an item that's relevant. So the first definition is this weird thing where it's like, oh, purchasing or selling it for more or less than the average amount is worth? I mean, but isn't it up to the player-run economy to decide that? Because if 2K is going to take the invisible hand and slap it away... Yeah, literally. If they're going to take the invisible hand, and I hate to use that term here, if they're going to take that and like try to influence it, then technically they shouldn't have an auction house at all. If they're going to directly fuck with the market, I mean, then that kind of defeats the purpose of having a free market. If you're going to mandatorily state how much something is worth, then that's not really people putting it up for whatever it's worth. That's not an auction house. That's not
or for when they buy it or sell it when it's not its intended value.
Yeah, like that's not an auction house. That's
and you know why it exists in this scenario, in the sense that the reason that there's being such a big fuss about if it's legitimately you paid less than you're supposed to, right? Because you're using the microtransaction currency to do such things.
Yeah.
So you can make money in a sense. They don't want you to make no damn.
Yeah, they don't want you to get away. They don't want you to make a good deal. They want you to make bad deals. Apparently, you're supposed to do the dumbest fucking purchases possible. I guess that's how they fucking see people, is fucking doing dumb shit. Oh, I got gypped, now I gotta buy more of my coins or whatever. And I don't even really play 2K. The last 2K game I bought was the fucking
You know what's great about the 2K currency? Guess what it's called?
Fuck.
Two
my
coins.
Player? I don't know.
It's literally just called virtual currency.
Oh my fucking
God. Yeah,
fucking
VC, yeah.
I mean, whatever. VC, I don't really care. I buy 2K games maybe once every 5 fucking years just to minorly dick around with them. But, yeah, I mean, the second definition is when you wait until a few seconds before the auction house timer refreshes and then buy high-value cards for a low price. So wait a minute here. I'm going to start with
why are the auction prices refreshing?
I'm going to start with the back end of that first. You buy high-valued stuff for as low as possible. If some idiot wants to sell something that's ranked for about 1 million gold for 1 penny, that's his problem. That's not your problem as the purchaser.
No, I think. Wait, is it because they're selling at that, or
well,
I think doesn't 2K just reset all the prices?
Well, then they don't have a great system, do they? Then they shouldn't let people buy at that time period. Then should they? And then what they really should do is that after a certain point, they take everything down for the day.
Yeah,
because now you're punishing people for being awake and making the smart decision. You mean to tell me? And yeah, I know this double standard doesn't hold up. Because you mean to tell me that these people at 2K running this system have never looked at something and said, maybe that Amazon purchase will go down lower later. you know, like when it's not in demand, or maybe this will be worth it later, or maybe I'll wait on this and see what happens with it. Never done that at 2K. They always buy right away. That's why they work there. That's why they probably play the games too. They probably, I don't know what the fuck.
How the stock market works?
Do you not know how basic fucking purchasing power works? Like, this is not even stock market. This is like, oh, today the Christmas cakes are like $100, but tomorrow they'll be $50 because it'll be the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, well, I guess I gotta pay $100. Fuck it. But think about it. If people make smart purchasing decisions, that's more money they can use on virtual currency. See? Look at that. Fucking idiots. Oh my god.
Did you just say something in the future? No, I can't see that far.
No, but it's like Andy said, they're technically making money. Because they're technically making money because I think they see it as like, oh, I put $5 in virtual tickets to get this whatever then I trade it for for like 10 virtual tickets. I've just made 10 virtual tickets.
Yeah, they don't want you to make any. They want you to do everything in a loss.
Stupid because they don't understand.
You can't cash out.
You can't cash out. So the other person who had that thing that was worth 10 virtual tickets, you already made that money. It doesn't matter who has it. You cannot cash out a virtual ticket. You've already made all the money that is in the stock industry. So why would you be afraid if people are making money off of deals? You already have that money. It's already in your bank account.
I would like to point out that maybe this guy did cheat. Maybe he is a cheater.
It's possible.
I don't know. Yeah, it is possible. Do I believe he is? No. But it is possible. You know, I don't know him personally. Yeah, especially 2K. Yeah.
Especially when they're like petitioned to your local government official.
The reason why I think that they're really dumb is because they can't even give the same definition twice. They got to give two different definitions on something that could give you a ban, neither of which makes sense in the context of a video game auction house.
And remember, you can't argue it.
Yeah, you're banned. That's it. They're gone. You're gone. There's no trial. There's no appealing. You're just gone. That's the end. They found you guilty. Judge, jury, executioner. The end. You're gone. And like that's what really floors me about it, is that neither of these definitions make any sense if you've ever played a video game where there is a market. Neither of these make sense. You want to buy whatever is most valuable for as little as possible. If you play WoW for 10 levels, you'll know that from just dicking around in like the auction house. People will undercut each other all the time, but that's how a healthy market works. If I put up something and then 100 other people put up something, we're not all just gonna fucking tie fucking amounts and just wait.
Especially when you've already made all the money in the market. You can't cash out. Literally.
Yeah, and they own everything anyway. The only other way to earn this shit is through playing the game, which they have to buy in anyway to play the game. Or they buy the virtual currency cards.
The other person that they're making money off of has already put money.
You have gotten some amount of money in your pocket just by them being in this system, period. Someone paid $60 for the game. Someone paid money possibly for the virtual currency. None of this does not already have money going back to 2K.
Like, hello?
So this is triple fucking dipping at this point. This is really fucking getting greedy. But like, honestly, I don't even really care about the Redditor user. I mean, it sucks if he didn't do anything wrong. But just like both of these examples are awful. We're not gonna wait in a Congo line for people to buy my shit. No, if someone's selling something for 1 million gil, I'm going to sell mine for 999,000. I can if I really want to be petty. But usually what people will do is they'll sell it for like 5,000 gil less. Or maybe, 1,000 gil less. And then they'll just undercut until eventually someone sees, oh, I want this. Oh, this is the lowest? Mine. And that's how stuff gets sold. And the Final Fantasy economy didn't fucking fall apart. It might be hard to get into, but once you get into it, you can be in it. I just made a couple 100,000 this morning from having something up that somebody bought that I made. Like, that's how fucking business works. And maybe not like super high up business, but on a very basic level, that's how business in GTA 5, didn't they fucking tell you to buy stocks when they were really low?
Yeah.
There was a distinct mission where they were like, hey, buy this shit low and then sell it high. That's that.
Yeah, at the end of the game, you have a bajillion fucking dollars.
Yeah. GTA is a 2K published game, by the way. I just like to point that out. It is owned by 2K. Rockstar.
Special.
Not to mention fucking shark cards, dude. They, like I said, they love it when you fucking pour money on them. That is that is stripper money right there. They are throwing those dollar bills at the whores, dude. They love it.
Shark cards, man. I can't wait for Red Dead to be ruined by it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Get
honestly.
online. The single player will be
when
fun.
you're that greedy, it makes sense. You're so greedy, you want your fan base to petition to your local government
To
get
change the laws so you could get them harder.
You can sell more. And that is not greed. I don't know what is.
Yo, I don't know what's worse.
You are not even petitioning. You want them.
You want them to do the work,
Like-
to put more money in their pocket. That is literally fucking free labor. That is literally free labor right there. Hey, go change the government laws in ways you may or may not understand so we could literally Jew you harder. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, I like it.
I really don't.
I don't even, like, what marketing business did you get this shit from? Where's your fucking degree? Hello? What makes you think that people are going to be that fucking loyal to you? People aren't even loyal to the church that much anymore, and you're trying to get them the fuck over the government. Like, hello? Oh, man, they literally wanted a fucking Brexit to fucking sell more fucking microtransactions.
I really can't
Oh,
take
my
that seriously anymore.
I
That's why
can't
love
take
them.
that shit seriously. It has to be a
You
joke.
can't.
And I thought making fun of Jeff Kaplan was like the top of the fucking top because it's like this ego circle jerk on the Blizzard forums. I don't know if we could really top some of this shit this episode. This
Dude, when
episode
I
had a
saw
lot
that on
of shit,
Reddit,
dude.
I thought somebody had doctored the freaking message.
Yeah.
I was like, can I find the original message? I went on their page. I'm like, there's the original message, word for word.
Wait, what?
Holy shit.
It's I have this moment all the time with game companies. When I saw the fucking Star Wars 40 hours shit, I thought it meant, to unlock everything in the game, it'll take you about 40 hours. That's a pretty good progression system. I read it, I'm like, oh, no. When I read the fucking Mass Effect shit, I was like, no. It's like I can't even read. Like I read the PlayStation shit for the first time when Sergio was posting it. I was like, "Oh, what happened here? It's some dumb shit with Senran. Sony, what does Sony do? Oh, so now Sony can terminate agreements whenever the fuck they want
Exactly.
and just say fuck you. Wow, well that's a great person to work for. See, even Nintendo will put a game where you behead fucking Nazis and what's that LA Noire quote? I always fucking quote. They literally say some racial fucking slurs.
They said the hard R.
What?
The hard R.
Oh yeah, well no. There's what is it? You left-wing leaning parasite? You expect me to sit here and listen to your drivel? Yeah, they'll put that on the Nintendo console. But let me tell you, dude.
Well, do also remember Mad World was on Nintendo, which was a game with 3 colors: white, black, and blood.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that is not a shitpost at all, by the way, for those who don't know about Mad World. Like, Nintendo will legit put on some M-rated shit. Like, I was hoping for Shadow of the Eternals, but, you know, no news all this year. I'm pretty much inclined to believe it'll either have a stealth release or just never,
Apparently, there's a rumor,
ever.
and Spawnwave is where I get a lot of my Nintendo Switch news.
Uh-oh.
And they're usually pretty good, but a rumor's a rumor, that we're apparently getting 2 Nintendo Directs in November.
Told you, I literally Hail Mary slam dunk that shit. Was that on the podcast when I said that?
I don't
Might
remember.
have been.
I think so, yeah.
Might have been, yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know about 2, but if we get at least even 1,
It's gonna
it's
be
like
lit,
next
dude.
month is gonna be pretty lit.
Dude, next month, please tell me Spyro's coming to the Switch. They need to drop that shit.
Please
like
tell
hot
me
fire.
they say, by the way, today's November 13th, Spyro is on the store today.
Yup,
Kept
gone.
you waiting, huh?
Meow. F-Zero right over to that shit. But, yeah, I mean, that's all I really have. I had quite a hearty chuckle with the fucking 2K shit. I could not believe I was
honestly,
reading
that
that
shit is
shit.
great, dude.
I didn't even know about the whole petitioning the government shit. I just knew about this shit because I remember someone linked it in here. And I commented on it. I was like, lol, that's fucking dumb. Or somewhere in here. But more specifically, like, when I read in, and then, like, the best thing is, and I'm going to give free advice to Mr. YYY2K or anyone who runs shit, not that anyone will ever see this who runs anything, don't lock threads. That just creates the fucking fervor culture. That just heightens the fucking bullshit. It's better to just let it die down naturally. Pin a fucking sticky, make a fucking other sticky on the main Reddit post, or Reddit page. Don't lock threads. That just creates, especially when people are still rabid. Like, they're not like, if it's fanboying, maybe you could lock it because it's fanboying. But if it's something negative, you know negativity travels infinitely further than fucking positivity. Don't lock the thread. All it's going to do is just make people more fucking rabid. That's all it's really going to do. Make as many YouTube videos. And plus, there's also YouTubers who say, buy low, sell high, pretty much, to summarize it. So I guess they should get banned, right? They're fucking buying shit for... it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Can we just get a game that comes out with no controversy? Like, yeah. I think Black Ops 4 might be pretty clean, right? I don't know.
No.
I mean, besides the campaign.
They lowered the refresh rate of the servers, so it's now from 60 to 20.
Well, that's not
that's not really
huge.
That's something. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, but in terms of like.
Well, like, nobody's complaining about the game, though. Like,
it's not like someone put a bomb.
Those are the complaints.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's big. Yeah, but it's not like...
The game feels worse than it does in the beta, basically.
I don't know.
I remember that happening.
When did that happen?
I don't know. That's what I read today.
I don't know anything about that.
Like, I mean,
an accident.
A shit
I don't
show.
know.
No, I don't think it's an accident. I think they did this before, but... Is it a shit show? Not yet, if so, but it's not yet. So I'm going to say it's not. This 2K shit, I mean, like I said, 2K is like probably one of the biggest launches every year. Everyone buys it. I mean, this is not going to ridiculously implode, but it's like the Sony thing. If you don't know what you're talking about, just find someone who does. That's what, like, I don't know. Who knows? It's really a fucking mystery to me. Well, if anyone else has any topics, feel free to slap them out. Not Sword Art, Soul Calibur.
That's cool.
You can finally earn that Stanley Parable achievement for 5 years today. So, it's possible.
It was in like a week since that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you posted just a few days ago. Oh, last Thursday? What day is it today?
Saturday.
No, that wasn't that long ago. Yeah, right? Yeah, this user's just been banned for TOS. Contact our customer support if you feel it was done in error. And then they literally just are like, yeah, it could be anything. I don't know. Fuck it. You're gone. Yeah. Is that all? Jimmy, how's streaming, buddy?
It's lit.
You want to
Soul
plug your
Calibur
shit?
Is the future. What?
Plug your shit,
no,
dude.
I don't have to. I would plug it.
What?
Twitch.tv/JimmySoundwave.
I was gonna say I would plug it, but I feel bad because I was gone for a while because I thought my TV
dude,
was
I'm the
broken.
host of the show. If I say you could do something, you could do it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know I'm not that fucking petty. I might be petty about some
HTTPS://
Okay, you know what, never mind. Get him out of here,
www.twitch.tv/Jimmy Soundwave. I stream everything.
You won't stream the Mario tournaments though. Fuck.
I stream Wimbledon.
The Mario
once
tennis.
a year.
One. Okay, sure.
But I'll be streaming Smash every day. Catch me on it.
Yeah,
Streaming
I can
some hot beatdowns
definitely.
of Spray and Pray 1000.
Oh! I cannot wait till this dude is ducking streams and invites to not play with me, because I already got a couple dudes ducking streams and literally not playing consoles anymore because of it. That's all I'm gonna say, dude. I'm gonna hold that one on. You want to talk about the Mario Tennis stuff being like a notch on my belt? I'll tell you what's a notch on my belt. I got dudes not playing entire consoles they spent money on to dodge me playing fucking Smash, or playing with me on Smash. Just remember that, dude. I got people running scared, dude. They're gonna run for the hills.
What are you talking about?
Daddy's out to play, dude. He takes no prisoners.
You think you good, nigga?
Yeah, I
It's
think
a
this.
promo.
I think this.
You think you
It's
good?
a promo.
You think you good?
It's a promo, Andy.
I'ma kill you.
Oh, yo, let's go, dude. It's time. But until then, I mean, unless Jimmy got anything, something, podcast topic, laughs, complaints, yeah, pretty much. That's me. I'm Spray and Pray 1000. This has been the debut episode of Schadenfreude Live. I was joined today by my co-hosts, Mr. Instant Retreat.
Yo, what up? I'm first this time. Thanks for having me here. It was fun. It was a great time talking about games.
Mr. Paladin of the Boss was here. He dipped. which is fine. Mr. Double Prime.
What? I didn't even know this was another type of show. Okay.
Yeah, I renamed it. I
Okay.
told you I don't like the name Beyond Spray and Pray anymore.
Didn't
But,
restructure it though.
yeah, it's this. Yeah, it's a facelift. And lastly, Mr. Jimmy Soundwave.
How fitting that on the Schadenfreude live debut, I thought that my 4K TV that I bought 2 weeks ago was broken.
Oh, legit!
here we
You are the
are.
reason it's called Schadenfreude Live, by the way. I have to. You created this. This is all you.
I'm sorry, everybody.
My favorite. Suffering at
Sorry,
2 a.m.
everybody.
in the morning.
Let me know if you guys miss Malcolm's Mail Day. I do too.
It's never coming back. That is not happening. I don't.
We'll buy you things online. Just to
No,
bring it
it's not happening. I'm not taking sugar daddy bullshit. I'm okay.
Rest in pasta, fan.
I am a heterosexual male. I'm not accepting any gifts. What was the
I'll take
fucking-
gifts.
All
What was
right,
the what was the joke I was making the other day about the best place to play instant? What was that? With
Sony, dude.
the floats? Yeah, I'm not getting into that. All right.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good. All right, well, that's a wrap. I guess we'll do a podcast in another 2 months. Sounds good to me. But in all seriousness, I want to try to make this bi-weekly so we can not have a 3-hour episode, so we can get in and out. And if everything goes well, I'm just gonna drop this as one episode. You know, and just literally push it to YouTube and call it a day. There's nothing to edit here. I mean, I pretty much OBS'd everything in, so sounds good to me. I think we had a good fun time.
All right, guys. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Good
podcast is over. Yeah.
Move me back.
Well,
Let me be free.